And welcome everybody to the Titan Series Season 2, Week 1. Hey, it's been a great time for the Titan Series. We had Season 0 where we kicked everything off. Then we had Season 1 and the competition's only been getting better and better. North America's been on top because it's only been North America. But this time around for Season 2, we're looking to spice things up a bit, add some extra regions. I'm talking about Latin America and Brazil. So it's going to be a little bit more international. North America, they're going to have to work hard because we know how strong Brazil and Latin America are, but it's great to be here. It truly is. And if you are new, hey, welcome. This is going to be PUBG Mobile today, and it's going to be fun. 4 maps we're going to get to watch with some of the best competitors out there looking to make an impact. And if you are a returning face, welcome back. We loved having you, and we're glad you're back again. So whether you're new or old, let's talk about our format. Let's watch a little video to get you caught up to speed with how everything's going to work for the Titan Series.
This is the Titan Series, mobile gaming's ultimate esports showcase. Teams will battle for ultimate battleground supremacy and a prize pool that stands at $2,000. Each Titan Series season is 4 weeks long, and teams will play in 2 divisions, the Premier Division and the Challenger Division. Both Premier and Challenger teams will play in the qualifier stage that spans the first 3 weeks of the season. From there, the top 12 teams from the Challenger qualifiers will join the bottom 4 teams from the Premier qualifiers to play in Week 4's Challenger Finals. In the Challenger Finals, anything can happen, as the top 4 finishers will join the Premier qualifiers top 12 in the Premier Finals later on in Week 4. The prize pool will be divided amongst the top 3 teams in the Premier Finals, and the top 12 Premier Finals teams will be guaranteed a slot in next season's Premier Division. In the Titan Series, the stakes are always high, as teams have the ability to climb up or plunge down the leaderboard. If you think your team has what it takes to compete at the highest level, prove it. Sign up to play by visiting titanseries.gg. You can also stay up to date with your favorite teams, look up detailed team and player statistics, and even grab custom Titan Series player cards to share with the community. This is the Titan Series, forged in fire.
Like I said, it's going to be a great day, and we are so happy to have you. And even though I'm your host, I can't do the job alone. Let's bring in our analyst desk and our casters for today. I'm talking Powerbang, Hot Jukes, Neptera, familiar faces you should all be used to. Powerbang, what's up, brother? How you feeling?
What's up, Taylor? I'm here to talk, baby. We are going to be doing some talking today on the microphone. The mics are hot. The battlegrounds are hot. The teams are hot. I'm excited to hop into Titan Series Season 2. We've got some new teams in the fold this season, and I'm excited to see how they do amongst our gauntlet of NA powerhouses.
Absolutely. NA powerhouses. I talked about the different regions. We'll see if NA can stay that powerhouse. Hot Jukes, great to have you on here, brother. It seems like everywhere you look on a PUBG Mobile broadcast, you're there. Glad to have you here.
Hey, thank you so much. Hey, Powerbang said hot 3 times in a row, so that's why I'm here. What's up? I'm so excited. Dude, it's so crazy. I mean, I've been waiting, right, for the Titan Series to get just that more international. And the time has come, and in only Season 2. That is what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Making moves, baby. Making moves. And Neptera, it's great to have you. You're going to be joining me for the desk the entire night. Can't wait to hear your analysis and what you got to bring to the table. How you feeling?
I am feeling really great, honestly. It's going to be so much fun. You know, we had a little bit of a break coming in because of, you know, the PMPL and the Americas and all that sort of stuff, but we are back. We got some new faces. We got some old faces. I'm super excited to see where this goes this week.
That's right. I'm a new face. I'm a new face, but I'm old,
Yep.
so I'm also an old face as well. All right, PBA, we're in the same boat. Anyways, hey, Season 1. Let's take a step back.
Don't lump me into that boat. Taylor, we're not starting this already. It's too soon in the broadcast.
It is a bit early, bro, but it's going to continue to go. Don't you worry about it. It's hot out here, right? Hey, let's go back in time to Season 1 and let's recap because it was a lot of fun. We had multiple weeks of all these great teams and some, you know, familiar faces, I think, to everyone. From Season 1, man, PB, it was a wild ride.
It really was. We took a little bit of a break here, build out some more new features, wait for PMPL to kind of subside, watch some of the teams and their performance, figure out who we wanted to be involved. But some of these clips, man, bringing back nostalgia already, from the weird plays of Black Mamba here at the end of this game to the four-piece by Rin and in Hyper. Just some incredible stuff that we're seeing on the regular in the Titan series. And again, so excited to create a whole season's worth of highlight clips moving forward.
Yeah,
like this pan.
Like a pan, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
hey, pans around. Oh, yo, what? Okay, if we get some of that today, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. Hot Juke, C4, they ended up taking it all, right? They were the most dominant team whenever it came to Season 1. About 5 points, right? So as far as the point spreads go, it wasn't really too much. It was competitive to the very end.
Yes, sir. And, now that we've taken this break and we're back, we're starting to see those switch-ups in rosters as well. I hear the legendary Quan is going to be playing for C4 now, so I'm interested to see how that's going to take effect on the team. And, we heard Powerbank say, the nostalgia, and I just saw the Panthers there, and that's going to be about as nostalgic as it gets, right? So it's crazy to see these new players. I'm just hyped to see how it all turns out here.
Yeah, we'll see. Familiar faces returning, maybe shakeups on some rosters. Neptura, a shakeup on a roster, you never know how that's going to go.
No, you never do, because as watching from the outside, you never see those inside, how that's going. You got some new blood coming in, you got some old blood going out, maybe there's all kinds of going on there. So we just have to observe and just kind of see where all that's going. So again, this season, and I think last season we saw a few shakeups as well. So this season we're continuing that trend, and it just keeps the momentum going. It's interesting to watch. Just when you think you might be getting a little, there's new stuff coming in. So I'm super happy to see where that's going for him.
Well, that was Season 1. Let's take a step back in time, but this time a little bit more recent. And PB, we actually had the chance to run this show, and it was a fun one. It was America's Scrims, and it was the lead up into the PMPL America's Championship, which just took place. These Scrims were kind of my introduction into PUBG Mobile, and it did not disappoint. We had a lot of great moments, and one of the kings of these Scrims was Loops. Loops was such a talented roster coming from Brazil. They were the favorites multiple times, and they ended up winning our America's Scrims, and they did so, it seemed like, by only having 1 to 2 players left towards the tail end of each and every map.
It's a good memory, Taylor. That's absolutely correct. Loops doing it shorthanded. It was almost as if they didn't need their full roster to win some of these games. They came out and clutched a comeback for the ages in the second day of those scrims to ultimately come out on top. And Loops is such a legacy team in the PUBG Mobile esports ecosystem. They've been around for years and ultimately have maintained a pretty consistent roster throughout. So I absolutely love having them officially as part of the Titan Series Premier Division, and I'm eager to see if they can hold it down just like they did in the America's Scrims.
I was going to have to see, and Hotchix, you actually had a chance to commentate the PMPL America's Championships. A7, you see them in 14th place. You look at the results, though, I see them in first place for the championship. So night and day from America's Scrims to the actual championship.
That's how it goes, baby. That's how it goes. When it comes time to the big show, you got to really let out all the guns and all the power that you got. And Alpha 7 just did what Alpha 7 we expected to do. So, I think Loops have a lot going into this. And I think the Titan Series is more important than ever because we talked about some roster swaps a little bit earlier, right? The Titan Series is the place to be to look at some of these player stats and analytics. So I think there's a lot on the line for a lot of players out there to get their names out and hopefully maybe even step up on another team here soon.
Maybe so. Neptura, though, let's start talking about our teams, because we've been talking about NA, right? NA Season 0, Season 1. That's all it was. They had no choice but to win because no one else could, right? But this time, we introduced 4 amazing teams coming out from Brazil and Latin America. And, of course, I'm looking right at Loops. That's going to be my personal favorite, I think, throughout this entire thing. But let's put a magnifying glass on Intense Game, right? Intense Game joining into the mix, 3rd place PMPL Championships. They might very well be the favorite throughout Season 2.
Yeah, they absolutely could be. I mean, they certainly have made a huge impression coming into the Americas. And it's been a pretty popular team coming their region and then moving up. that extra step. They've done a really good job. So definitely want to see how they kind of come in to the next sort of season. really, because you know what, the championships, they're a weekend. How are they going to perform week after week, you know, over a long period of time against the rest of these teams? That's what we're going to be looking at. So yeah, all eyes on them for this season.
All right, well, it looks like we're about to drop in hot, 30 or so seconds before the first game gets started, so I'm going to leave it up to production. What do you want to show, baby? Because Season 2, it's coming in hot and ready, just like a nice pizza. Let's go ahead and do our predictions then. Neptra, back to you. Who do you think's winning Game 1 real quick?
Oh, this is really hard. I'm going to go with C4.
See, hey, keeping it consistent from Season 1, I see you. Hot Shoots, what about you?
Why don't we give it an intense game? They dominated the start of PMPL, failed at the end, but I think they got it here at the start.
All right, curse yourself. PB, who you going for?
I'm with Jukes on this one. Intense game. After a crazy PMPL performance, they were in it to the very end. I got to go with IG, the homies from Brazil.
That's fair. Results speak for themselves. For me, I'm going Loops. Loops is my favorite in America. Scrims. I think they're going to tear it up today. I just hope they can keep all 4 alive. That's the main goal anyways. If they can do that, I think they will be just fine. But Game 1, we are heading into Map 1 anyways. Erangel, it's going to be a ton of fun. And I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Me and Neptra are going to go ahead and hop off. And PB, Hot Jukes, take it away. Let's head in to drop number 1.
Woo-wee! Jukesy, are you ready to go? I'm so excited. There are some new teams. We just saw them up on the screen, and obviously we're going to have a chance to crack into the rosters and discuss who's who. But I think some notable changes to get into of the folks that qualified in through last season. There's some org changes. The teams remain largely the same, though, a couple of which we should mention. Butterfly Effect is for the former Wall Street Bets roster, and then we also had V2, which is formerly Phoenix Esports. Both of these teams qualified through their play through last season's Premier Division. And then we have our 4 directly invited teams from our LATAM and Brazilian regions. That is Aton. We've got Intense Game, as we have predicted might actually win this match. We have Loops Esports, and we also have the #1 team out of LATAM, that is Jaguar.
Let's go. PB, I am born ready. I've been waiting for this season since PMPL ended, and I'm glad it's here so quickly. Every single time historically, right? I've been in the game for quite a while here, so have you. We've seen after every PMPL, there's always like that dice roll, right? Of players and orgs, right? Teams start switching up, rosters start moving. And, you know, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, right? Just how important it is to perform here in the Titan series, because this is that place where these players are even going to perform now, and we might still see roster swaps day by day. I'm not going to be shocked if I see that happen.
Absolutely not. I mean, it's something that is the beauty of a tournament like this, is we have the ability to get teams to be creative. Ultimately, one of the weaknesses, I think, of the NA region especially is teams not staying together for the long term and building that chemistry that's just required to go up against some of the powerhouses of the other regions, like the Loopses, that have been together for quite some time. But, you know, once we can kind of establish some of that chemistry and, hey, something's not really working, it's a beautiful place to perhaps scout some new talent and maybe rotate some folks in and get some really competitive games in.
Yes, sir. We're taking a look here at Aton Esports with a kind of a rough drop over here towards Pachinki. So they're going to be running very underlooted to those barns. They should be able to get there. Oh, nothing in that little shack there. You hate to see that here. But Aton starting off kind of a nice little middle of the pack team when it comes to dealing on the entire America side of things. But, you know, this is the place to be, right? Just hopefully just start tuning things up, and we might see a nice battle here to start off. And, yep, here comes one of Vigilantes.
F it, let's fight, right, Jukes? Let's
go.
Let's get into it. We're 10 seconds into the Titan series, and we have some deaths already to throw into the column here. Mezexis getting into it now with wanted Vigilantes inactives. Gonna have to put up a stand here. The Juke! Woo!
Oh, Bope Sour saying, nah, no pump action. I got this F12K, baby. And Mezexis now in a world of hurt as wanted Vigilantes is going to be hunting him down. And they have to have a good hunch of where they are. Maybe Illusion. Yeah, he's going to go for that wide rotation. The chopsticks, most likely. And just kind of try to spot where the rest of these players are.
This is like when you got a fugitive on the run, Jukes, and you're setting that perimeter. They know they're in the neighborhood, right? They're going to do this urban sweep right now, see if they can come up with some other points. And I will say, Poppy Sour and crew, maybe, hitting them with the hot jukes there. I mean, Mezexis in the house trying to figure something out. You heard the pre-fire with the DBS, but too little too late as Wanted Vigilantes off to a great start here in the Titan series. Couple points up on the board. And we also have Hyper getting one off of Aton. So that is really impressive from them as well, and they have to be feeling good riding the hot performance that they had in PMPL Americas.
Yes, sir. You can see Netflix trying to chill, but he can't chill for very long, and he's going to have to battle it out, and he is going to go down. So I was kind of worried with Wanted Vigilantes because I think they were getting a little bit too split up, but they do win that fight against Netflix, and now Blue is in big trouble.
Yikes! I got to point out the new active scoreboard too. We've got player health in real time, so you can see
Get out of here.
Who's doing what, who's taking damage, who's knocked, who's eliminated. Some beautiful new additions here that we've been hard at work at while PMPL was going on, and obviously works in progress here, but trying to kind of continue to raise the bar in the region.
That is insane. That's the first time I've ever seen something like that. I'm geeking out right now. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, you can just see it right there. Wanted Vigilantes. 3 of their players kind of like around that mid-pack health-wise, kind of getting some first aids. That's sick. I'm sorry. That's sick. That's sick.
It should provide a little bit more context to fights, even if they're not on screen, right? So if they're happening elsewhere and we're watching one fight, you can kind of get a feel for who might be hanging on by a thread or who's knocked, etc., and how close they are to actually having their life extinguished. As you've seen a couple players from Aton and Loops so far. Unfortunate for Loops, they lose one early as well. It looks like V2, which is formerly, again, Phoenix Esports, picking up an early elim off of the Brazilian powerhouse.
Yeah, you could see them just trading some shots back and forth. As you can tell on that little beautiful screen there on the bottom right. Dauntless over here. In North George, getting looted up. They're not going to have anything to worry about for quite a while. And getting ready for the rest of the game. So things finally starting to slow down here a little bit. What do you think, PB, about these drop locations, right? We saw a little bit, kind of some hot drop action. Do you think that's something we're going to see going forward?
I sure as heck hope it's not at a freaking compound just to the west. What do you even call that place?
Gatka.
I mean, it's like... Yeah, okay, we'll call it East Gatka, right? It's like, why fight over that at this stage in the game? I mean, you're rocking pistols and shotguns, and it just seems unnecessary to really take those types of risks at this stage of the game. Ultimately, it ends up with a squad going out, but maybe, just maybe, teams have got to kind of get a feel for where their safe drop location might be and where they can stake their turf and say, hey, this is our spot, you don't challenge us here or else.
Big question for you as well. A scale of 1 to 10, right? How pissed do you think Taylor is seeing Loops lose one early?
I don't know, man. I think he's pretty confident because Loops, again, they are the shorthanded gods, it seems, from America's Scrims. They are just fine, Jukes. You know that was probably on purpose. They could have won the fight, but they're like, listen, all right, who's hungry? Who needs to go grab a taco or something, right? Take a little bit of a load off and come back in the later parts of the game. Just wait till the end game.
Oh, man. Very merciful, Loops is. I like that. A very bold strategy saying, you know what? We want to challenge ourselves even further.
It's confidence, Jukes.
I love it. I love it. Well, you know what? Wanted Vigilantes are going to need some confidence. They are just getting picked apart here. And Poppy Sour did a great job of kind of getting that initial knock. But the rest of his team, just too split apart, not able to defend this.
I will say Wanted Vigilantes came out wanting to fight today, apparently, because they have been into it now with 2 different squads, getting the better of Mezexis, but Jaguar, the LatAm top dogs, have something to say about it.
These rotations are just lightning fast. C4 in the feed, getting into it within Hyper, and it looks like they're getting the better of them. I think that's 2 knocked already. That's going to be an interesting fight to take a look at. As we see C4 getting set up. This is a great area for them. And this little flatland right here, yep, right there, is such a great spot. You can rotate away from it if you get into a fight. And it looks like they're just kind of hunting down the rest of Hyper. Kindness by the Blues, just stuck on his own.
Man, these skins on this map are It's triggering to me on so many levels because I did not spin the doll hairs when this was available because it was only on Miramar, and this was super like 3-4 years ago or whatever when that skin came out. But I kind of want it, and I kind of wish I would have. I kind of wish I would have gone for it. You know, now that it's available on Erangel.
That's so sick, man. I mean, I went for it so many times. Well, you know what? And Hyper's gonna have to go for it here as well. They do have that rock, so Kindness is gonna have that advantage. Rin really needs to win this fight against Ghoul, though.
Really does. We got fights breaking out against two of the top dogs in the region again, and Hyper fresh off a second-place performance at PPL Americas, where they look like a different team than they did last Titan series, and we got to see if they can carry some of that momentum forward. So far, not looking super strong, as it's all up to Rin, as Kindness on his knees, crawling away, and C4 continuing to maintain their Titan series dominance with a head-to-head win, seemingly over Hyper here.
Oh, he got caught! Wow, JP actually got blindsided. It's going to get thirsty. I was wondering why he was pushing that building by himself. Just a little too risky. And he's going to go down. Rin trying to make a Hail Mary play 1v4. Yeah, only able to take one of them.
Man, that was awfully close. Rin got caught by the third member there of C4. C4 unnecessarily losing one. You know they're going to regret that one. And we take our attention over to Jaguar here. Into it with YKG. And who is this from YKG? We got 777. I'm not sure who that actually is. Jukes, any info there?
I don't, but I'll find out soon enough, because you know what? 777s is a lucky number. He is going to be a little lucky for now, as he should be able to get rezzed in the next few seconds. Chico popping down that smoke. So even YKG, yeah, 999.
We got a little naming convention going on. We're masking a few tryouts, I'm guessing. That's my hunch here.
Well, I know of a few players off the top of my head that I don't see in this lobby with their names, so I wouldn't be surprised if
we got a couple teams as well that have either broken up or maybe lost a few members, or there's some org difficulties or whatever. So it's the time for some of those shifts, especially after one of the major tournaments has just concluded. I mean, it's not at all unlikely that we see some shifting around and some roster swaps going on.
100%. You can see Roa here just trying to get some bandies off. He's going to have to make a play with this UMP. Now he jumps up just a little too slow, and he's going to go down. Bope trying to catch some players on a rotation. It looks like we're going to see a nice little fairy pier ending here, possibly.
Absolutely. We got SLR into the action as well. What in the world? Is that I think it's a faulty logo. I'm like, who the heck? We'll figure that out on the back end, but yeah, it's Execute that's rocking the SLR logos. Okay, now I got it straight.
Execute. Getting a nice shot there. He's going to have to go for that finish. Did he get it? No. Actually, he did. Yes. Okay, it was his teammate. For a second, I thought it was taken away from him, but he's going to get the confirm. Nightcrocs, last one up for Bope. Tough position to be in.
Absolutely. We've got, again, a couple of teams out to an active start. You love to see YKG kind of turning things around. Again, they had a pretty tough.
Shot.
Wow, look at those shots, dude. He had a laser beam of a weapon on that one. Unable to get the finishers. He's pinned down. Will the kill get stolen? That's my question. We'll see.
Nightcrocs trying to pick up some points for his team is if he's not able to get that confirmed, which I think he will be able to, because I don't see how the rest of Execute's going to be able to pick him up. And I love the fact that I can see his health from here, right there, on the active scoreboard on the right. And he's just bleeding out little by little.
It is kind of nice to, hey, he's not on screen. I wonder what he is. And it's like, we know it's about curtains for old Execute's member here. We'll see. I love it. It should expire here any moment. We'll see. There he goes. And he is extinguished.
Wow.
So,
that's so
dang near real time.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. It's going to make my job a whole lot easier, that's for sure. Let's see what Nightcroc's going to stay where he's at. Here comes Xtreme Slayers, pushing up little by little. I really like this here. They do know that Execute's going to be pretty hard out. And I love how they're pushing pretty close together. Ray just got to be a little bit careful not to do it solo. I like how he's, okay, now he's a little hezzy. Gives me confidence in him.
You got to do a little jab step, getting that triple threat position before you push any sort of building here. V2, this is an interesting one, right? Like, obviously rebranded again from Phoenix Esports, and this is a team that didn't get a lot of, like, notoriety or press or anything, but they had a banging Premier Finals last season, finishing in second place overall. So they're, again, coming out trying to defend a really strong finish last season.
Yeah, it's really all about just that consistency. And, we definitely know Phoenix has that pop-off potential, but I think we've just seen them struggle to be able to do it consistently. So hopefully, in their off time, they did some homework, put some of that work together, and we'll see it here at the start of this tournament. And so far, they have all 4 up with a nice little one elimination. Not looking too bad.
Well, I'm gonna call an audible here, Jukes. I know we're into the game a little bit here. Do we want to pick another winner, like you and I, maybe a little side bet here? Our prediction didn't show up to the match. I don't know what that's about, but they are not in the lobby, which we did not have that info beforehand, and they will be here for later. So I feel like we should get a redo. You know what I'm saying? A little mulligan.
I do call a mulligan, and I love how I get the mulligan in stage 4, right? So since
100%.
Since I do have it here in stage 4, I'm gonna go with YKG, because YKG it got beat up in PMPL, like absolutely dominated. They got a couple new names, so I want to see them do something.
I like the pick, man. You honestly stole where I was gonna go, but I'm gonna be different, right? Let's go with Dauntless. I'm gonna throw up a Dauntless pick here. I'm a big fan of Dauntless. Have been for a long time. I've heard they may have a member who has gone elsewhere this season. I'm gonna wait and see when they get on screen. We'll see what the roster's looking like. But again, big fan of Klaus over there, and I'm hoping he's suiting up for Dauntless this game.
Dude, Klaus is a beast. That is for sure. Oh, Ayala in big trouble. Juan Heda should be able to get this confirmation. Almost shoots his own teammate's vehicle tires out of that buggy on that crossfire. That was a little dangerous. Cardosin gonna have to make a big rotation. Look at this zone, PB. Oh my goodness.
Well, I can't see any white lines on the mini map, so
Awa circle. I saw the edge. Yeah. Look at it right there. Oh goodness gracious.
Wow, that's incredible, Jukes. I mean, this is out there in the water. I want to see if there's any northern, like, dude, is this already all the way in the water?
I think so. This is going to be insane because you can see everybody is starting to take that coastline. You can see Mona Lisa going for that boat. That is really interesting. You got the edge of this bridge into play, and you can see Juan Heda trying to. I think that's
take his driver's license.
Look at Ghoul up on top. Yeah. Could be problematic.
Dude, this bridge just became incredibly valuable real estate.
Yes, sir, indeed. And worst case scenario, you can always just jump off of it, swim out a little bit, see what happens. But yeah, it's definitely leaning to that ferry pier, water circle area. No,
I'm gonna speak this into existence, right?
Give it to me.
I want to see a team stage on the bridge like V2's doing right now, and I want them to get pushed out of zone to where they have to push in. I want one player to get past all the utility and just to chuck smokes off the bridge onto the shoreline, and everyone else to jump in and just come out like Navy SEALs onto the freaking beach and storm their way to safety. I think that would be amazing.
That would be ridiculous. I haven't even seen that strategy done. I would love to take a look at it here. You can see Rockstar with the laydowns trying to get some peaks on the C4 up top. But I think that is the strat, right? Just wait. We'll send it on in, throw some smokes. Oh my gosh!
Jeez, made him regret that peak.
They 1-2-3'd him 100%. V2 was like, I already 1, 2, 3, bop, bop, bop.
I felt like they might have skipped 1 and 2 and went straight to 3 there, man. They turned up the juice awful quick and eliminated him before he had a chance to know what hit him.
Out of there. Out of there. C4 still holding it down here on the edge. 18 seconds left on the clock. This circle has started to close. Will it head even further to that awa, that water? Or
looks like it's starting to head out of the water and has finally shifted onto the mainland for the most part. Bridge going to be out of play here. And you can see on the mini map, again, C4 kind of edge of zone for the moment. And there it is. We're starting to center up on that peninsula. And that's going to put Butterfly Effect in a really strong position as everyone that's battling here in Ferry Pier has to push out, and they've got to work through themselves to try to get to safety.
This is going to be a fun zone right here. So many people know this spot here. You're going to have gas station still in play. You're going to have that open field right there as well. A lot of hills right behind it. And you can just see teams starting to look towards their back. YKG, sixless, shimmying, and out of there. 24K, taking him out.
Man, 24K scared me there for a minute. I was like, bro, if you don't get this knock, this man's running in a straight line away from you. And barely got him down before he got around that corner. Good jukes from Sixless there, but unfortunately takes the knock for his team. We're about to see a lot more of that as everyone's headed to zone as we take a peek at Dauntless, who does indeed have Klaus and Skipper suiting up for them once again.
Ooh, everybody trying to scurry into this next zone. Here goes Klaus. He's got that ride nice and ready. You can see, oh boy, 999.
Oh,
Putting some nice shots. That was a headshot there on Yang. Yang in real big trouble, barely skipping away.
A couple of headshots there from 999, and you gotta love to see that out of a recruit here, popping them domes from distance here. Dauntless able to just barely escape. Thankful for those level 3 helmets, and they've got a spot here. It's gonna be tentative at best, and they are scouting a bit. And I don't. Skipper's going somewhere. I don't know where he's going, dude. Maybe you're gonna take a swim here.
Maybe under the bridge? Yeah, maybe this is the spot he was trying to hold, and forget the swim, dude. He ends up going out here on the beach. You got Klaus still alive. Only player up, though. It's not looking good.
That was an ambitious drive through the zone, I will say. 7 teams alive, and they're just like out for a Sunday stroll through stage 5 circle with half of it in the water. Man, tough one for Dauntless there, but Klaus got eyes on. It looks like Rushy in danger right now, or Spence is. I don't know if he's aware. Spence going for the grenades.
Oh, he sees him. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Spence. Oh, just a kind of a tough bounce. Yep. It does tip him up a little bit. Doesn't connect, though. And now Klaus is going to start throwing out those smokes, trying to protect that Bugatti.
He's out.
Yeah, he's out of there.
He's going to try to get out of here.
Oh,
he knows it's coming.
He's going to get it. Yep. The nade coordination. So good.
You know, in hindsight, Dauntless, that was my pick, and they're now out. I'm liking the looks of YKG a lot right now. Tried to be different. It did not work out in my favor, Jukes, but you have to wonder, what in the heck was that push doing there? I mean, they probably could have stayed in those little dips in that grass up there if they were full strength and had their full team there. But it's tough to fight off teams at multiple angles when you just leave a duo and try to fend for yourself. Ultimately, Dauntless goes out underneath the bridge. I'll have to pack it in and try again in the next lobby.
Never go against the team whose logo you created. And, Dauntless with that blind rotation definitely stings to see. Hopefully they can pick things up here in the next few matches. But, YKG really dominant with 4 up. Loops down to 2 members, but still holding on. We've seen them be dominant with only a handful. Maybe they can get it done.
I told you to watch out for Loops. They're shorthanded. They've got Cardozan. They've got Ayala. That's all they need. They got Chief and Mystic, I believe, out on the sidelines. I didn't see who suited up for them tonight, but that would be the usual 2 there. And, I mean, really, there is no weak player on the Loops roster. These guys are huge, and Milos gets completely thrashed there by the buggies of Aton and YKG. That's
YKG
brutal.
Coming in hot here, really looking to take this position. And this is outside of the next circle, so they were really aggressive. They got to make sure to protect their vehicles, though, because there's only 4 seconds left on the clock, and I'm sure they're going to need them. Oh, never mind. They want this elimination on the Choco. Oh, he gets the nade. He gets the double tap. YKG getting bodied here. Not like this, YKG. Not like this.
Bro. This was incredible play right there. The back-to-back. Chuko going for the finish right now of YKG, and he's doing it 1v4. We'll see if he can come up with a dub here. He's getting pressured. Shots are there. He's just not quite finding the right timing. He's out the window, comes around in the blue zone. Last-dish effort, not able to get it done. Aton eliminated, but 8 points to their name before heading out of here. Not a bad first game for the LatAm Sensations.
That was pretty disgusting there for Chuko to see that play. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't go for that thirst, but I think he was really trying to go there for that hero 1v4. YKG does get their player up, so that is going to be a 3-man going into these final zones.
It is a little weird, Jukes, with that non-finish. He had a DBS. It only took 1 slug into him from that range. And, yeah, I'm shocked he didn't go for that point early on. Again, we got 4 games coming up tonight, ladies and gents, that will be playing for 3 weeks of qualifiers here in the Titan Series before we tally up those points. Some bonus points, and then move on to our Premier Finals. Again, the bottom 4 from our regular season will be going to the Challenger Finals to have to prove it and play their way in, and the top 12 will automatically qualify through. Based on what you've seen, Jukes, is there any teams that you feel like might be ones to watch for having to go down to that Challenger Finals? Any that you're a little shaky on right now?
I think Mezexis, of how they started, getting into that fight early on, doesn't make me happy, right? I definitely want to see them tighten things up here as the tournament goes on, because Mezexis can definitely get it done when they need to. Oh my gosh, there we go. We see the AMR coming out. Nice big bold action shots. And Chico just trying to finish out Cardoso.
They can't do it. Loops is unfinishable. You spot a couple of players, and then
MG3.
Yeah, you just swim. Dude, if he can get to land here and get that gun out, he actually has a decent shot to win this.
Chico trying to throw a nade. That nade looks good. Oh, yeah. Cardoso swim away. Swim away. Barely able to get there in time, but he's got that MG3 on it. Chico, did he get the knock? He does.
Oh, my God, he did. Bro turned into Michael Phelps for a moment, power swims away with a freestyle, comes out, gets the knock, ultimately has a little bit of return fire here. Ayala not able to support his teammate, but again, do not count Loops out just yet. They're down to 1, but hey, they're top 5 right now. They're gunning for top 3.
E2 Spence just absolutely ear-holing him from the bridge. And but you mentioned, yeah, Loops still alive. They're not out just yet. YKG trying to apply some more pressure to Butterfly Effect. They have the best position in the zone. They know it, but they're going to definitely have to put their eyes to the back of their heads because YKG's coming from. And these smokes are terrible. Yeah, these smokes are horrible. They're just giving up all their sight lines and just said, yeah, YKG, nade us to death.
And they will oblige. So just like that, YKG taking advantage of some pretty awful smokes here from Butterfly Effect, but that's what you get, you know, when you smoke yourself out, providing that cover that the offense so desperately needs. YKG waltzes in, gets the DBS, finishes, and now we've got a 3-on-1 situation going up against Butterfly Effect. We also have C4 with 1 player down. This is YKG's game to win.
Absolutely. Oh, nice little car vehicle shenanigans here, just trying to make things tricky for the teammates. Oh, he is going to go for the shots, though, in the wide open, and that... They are out of there. Goodbye, Butterfly Effect, YKG. 13 eliminations. That's a baker's dozen, PB.
It really is. A baker's dozen coming in hot. And all I can think about right now is like, well, Loops is moving up the scoreboard 1 more spot.
You know what I can think about is like those players that are on the bench for YKG are screwed. Like, that's what happens when you have a team just pop off like this. They're going to be like, oh, that was the problem. We're saved. This is it. We're dominating now. This is our roster.
Good start for sure. Obviously, we'll see if it's sustainable and these guys can maintain that chemistry throughout the rest of the lobbies tonight. But game 1 off to a great start for YKG in a position here. 3 out of the 6 players remain are on the YKG side. It's a 1v1v1v3. And Ayala, the one here that's hidden away, tucked out of sight.
That's a horrible circle. That's literally white out in the open. The bridge is not in play at all. So V2 Spence screwed. Ayala in big trouble. He's going to go ahead and jump in the water, and I don't think Chico saw him. Ayala, getting shut down by Ghoul.
Wow. Impressive shots there, 1v1 versus Ghoul. I was going to say I like the position underneath the bridge, which now Ghoul occupies, because... again, they had to jump off the bridge, potentially taking some damage. And, as far as the underdogs are concerned, obviously YKG in position to win this game. They have the angles, they have the high ground, they have the circle. So really it's YKG's game to lose here, and ultimately a little 3-way fight to the finish. But, we'll have to see how this thing shakes out.
1 bullet left in that 50 cal. Only 1. Is he going to hit it?
Need.
Is he going to hit it? You'd hit it.
Major collateral here. 100%. I 360 this crap.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know it.
I do know it. I do know. That's why I said it. And I'm wondering if he is gonna do it. He needs to. 1 shot, 1 kill. It's your time to shine. Ghoul is screwed. I mean, these nades are just brutal. He's gonna try to make a play. He does get a little bit of that hill advantage, and he has the DBS, so you never know what could happen. 999, you can't throw this. And yes, they do get that secure.
All right.
Shots from Spence.
Off angle taken down. 777s is eliminated. It's Spence in a 1v2 situation. I got some intel here for you, Jukes. These tryouts that are looking oh so clever for YKG. They're none other than Fears and Joey, so no changes on the roster here. 999 is Fears, and Joey was 777. So, you know, we're not looking at a huge roster shakeup for YKG as we might have suspected. But, hey, I love to see it. Bouncing back, coming in strong here in game number 1. This is theirs for the taking. 2v1 to wrap things up. YKG trying to add another 10 to their column here.
Ooh, legendary Joey, right? Picking up the name of 777. And I'll tell you what, it's a lucky number. That is a lucky number, PB, because this team is dominating this first match. Here we go. Spence Smith, the peak gets one.
No,
He's good.
no. Bro, he had 2 HP left. Absolutely no life left at all for YKG, but thankfully that recoil kicked just enough for V2 to miss those final couple of shots. It was a valiant effort. I was just posturing, thinking about it, Jukes. I was like, you know what? Does V2 just swim into the blue zone here and eat the loss, you know? Take second place and deny the points at this stage? We're game 1. We're not thinking about points just yet. We're going for the clutch. We're getting that clip, baby. V2 ultimately falling just a hair short. So close, but YKG locking in the dub, man. What were your thoughts on game 1?
That was disgusting. I mean, it's so crazy to see YKG go off like that. And Spence, I mean, I thought he had it. I literally thought he won the game, but just shift off those last bullets. Crazy. Could have definitely gone either way. So it was great to see just that action from all fronts. And I'm glad to see some of the teams that we expected to do good pop off here.
100%, dude. He must have been standing on some pebbles or something on that shoreline, lost his footing or something, you know, just a little shaky with the aim because he had that first knock before. I think it was Fears. I'm not sure who was the first knock, who was the second, but the second player literally didn't get off a shot before the first guy was knocked, and that auto spray went over to the second target. I was like, oh, dude, YKG's done. It's over. Count it right now for Spence. Ultimately fell just a little bit short. Would love to throw it back to the desk, though. Get their thoughts on this one. Game 1 in the books. Erangel, Titan Series, kicking off strong.
Strong indeed, man. What a game that was. And Hotchicks, I think it was you who said at the beginning, you know, when it comes to YKG, not the best performance when it came to the PMPL Championship. They didn't have the best performance in our America scrims, and this was an amazing performance from them. And I'm happy to see that because there was a lot of hype in America scrims. I asked, you know, coming in, doing my research, I said, you know, who's one of the teams we expect to really carry their weight? And it was YKG, and I didn't see that. But now I see why they are one of the #1 or the #1 NA teams as a whole when it comes to PUBG Mobile or specifically PMPL. Great job from them. We're going to touch on them quite a bit, but I want to go back in time, Power Bang, to Wanted Vigilantes, who in the beginning started off so strong, right? A big fight. They rack up 4 points quickly. They don't waste any time. They immediately head into a second fight with Jaguars. They lose 2 teammates, and then, well, after that, they kind of struggled and eventually were eliminated. Do they need to taper that off a little bit, or do you think the aggression, okay, didn't work this time, but it'll work next time?
I like the aggression, man. I want to see these guys get some reps in, fire up, warm up those muzzles, and see if they can get some momentum going. Because, again, the tactics, the strategy, it's something that I don't think any small... They're going to need to, like, really hone some stuff in. In order to do that, they need to play with confidence, right? So they got to get that big momentum building, get those guns warmed up. We'll see if they're able to accomplish that. But I like the bravado that they came out with early here in Game 1.
Yeah, not bad. Confidence is key. Hot Jukes, you said, I bet Taylor's pissed because Luke's already lost a team. And I was like, man, here we go again. But you know what? They lasted. That's one thing about them is they're not necessarily like the Slayers, the biggest Slayers in the lobby, although they can be from time to time. But they are a team that consistently makes it top 5, top 3. And we did see that in Game 1.
100%. I mean, that's, I think, Luke's curse, right? It's like if they're able to just get into an obvious position where the play is just, okay, we all know what to do, we're all up, they're going to win the game, right? Without a doubt. But getting to that point seems to be their struggle. But that's what the Titan Series is all about, right? Fine-tuning, getting better, and hopefully we see that happen here game by game.
Neptura, we see V2. V2 took early position of the bridge when we had that zone really heavily favored towards the water. The bridge was taken over from V2. This was an amazing moment, though, as I do take a pause. Choco was absolutely slaying out. And with that performance, Neptura, he was able to at least secure 8 points for Alpha 7. So can't count that man out.
No, absolutely not. He did a great job. The bridge is such a hard position to really hold on to, and he did it really skillfully. So very, very nicely done there. But man, YKG, you just can't. I mean, 15 to start off the season. I mean, you always want to do that, right? The first game, you want to get all that momentum, get that gap, that point gap, as big as possible. Right. But I think I succeeded here. I think they really did. That's what they were going for. They did a good job.
You can't argue with it. I mean, 15 elims power bang, that is insane to me, and just kind of lighting up our match report outside of V2, taking most assists and longest eliminations. But again, V2 holding that bridge. They really punished Dauntless. Dauntless kind of had to rotate in from below the bridge. The nades ended up taking out, I think, the last remaining member of Dauntless, but I liked V2's positioning overall as a whole. We look at our rankings, though, from Game 1. YKG taking a tremendous lead over everybody else.
You know, I like that strong start by YKG. And, you know, in that last scene where we were looking at that match report, we saw Spence, we saw that silhouette, we saw that outline, and that looked strangely familiar to me. That looked like the build of a Tensa, if you ask me. I don't know. It's almost like I've seen that before somewhere. But anyways, rankings here, YKG coming out strong in game number 1. We're missing one team, an intense game. Hopefully we see them in the next lobby. They've got a bit of a head start for all the other teams, but I think if anybody can come back, they certainly can. One notable bottom placing team here, Hyper Esports. Gotta ask you, Jukes, was this what you expected out of them after the strong showing they had PMPL Americas this last week?
Woo, not at all. I think Hyper is still bummed out that they didn't get first place, right? So maybe they're just hopefully kind of pushing through those emotions, you know, here. But it's only a matter of time. You know, I think game by game, they're going to start getting that fire back inside of them, and they're going to be okay.
That's amazing.
Gotta be okay,
Taylor.
man.
Dude, they're eating pints of ice cream at night right now is what I heard. just really washing it down.
Nothing wrong with that,
what
brother.
Flavor?
Hey, bro. Hey, if I could do the same thing, I would. But I'm too worried about it. I went and saw my family a little bit ago in Wisconsin. Been working out hard, gaining all this muscle, brother. And one of the first things they said is, "Oh, look at your love handles. You're cute." Now, bro, I was so deflated, man. 8 months of hard work just to get roasted by my own family, bro. But what is family? You know, family's gonna roast you. That's what they're good for, right? You know, they saw it. Neptura, C4 though, they were that challenger team that entered from Season 1, and they took this series by storm. And now in Season 2, Game 1, not a bad performance from them.
No, not at all. I mean, we've seen from C4 time and time again that real ability to survive and just keep going. You know, much like we saw from Loops in that one game, or in the first. So yeah, C4 have been such a phenomenal so far in the series, and so far tonight as well. You know, they got a good strong start. It's not the win they were probably looking for, but you know what, that zone was just a nightmare, so you can't really blame them for it.
I think it's a carryover because I was watching Season 1 and I was watching Day 1 or Week 1 rather, and when PB was hosting it, he said, "I want to see chaos when it comes to the end zones. I want to see crazy zones." And we got that, all right? I think a couple weeks late or a month late, 2 months late, whatever, but we at least got that. But again, I highlight V2 because I think V2 did a wonderful job taking over the bridge as they did. So, PB, heading into Map 2, we got Miramar. And I pose a question to you, and this is only based off of what I saw in the America Scrim. YKG was a team that showed up and showed out on Erangel, right? That was their map that they were dominating. Miramar, Sanhok was two maps that they didn't play too well in. Do you think YKG is going to be a totally different team on Miramar as opposed to Erangel?
Yeah, all they got to do is have their remaining two members. I believe it was Chico and who else had a name? this time around, Jukes. I don't recall, but they need to change to like 888 and like 111 or something. If they can do that, it's clearly like a whole new roster more or less, and they're locked and loaded. So just subtle tweaks here to the naming convention of the players, and I think they're a brand new team. But in all seriousness, speaking of crazy chaotic circles, I gotta mention that the Challenger division kicked off this week on Tuesday, again offline on Miramar. We got a final circle on the Southern Island, which I don't know that I've ever seen. So I'm hopeful for one of those on Miramar coming up, so we can actually do it on broadcast, because we were geeking out watching that offline. It was really, really fun.
You love your chaos, man. And I love chaos, too. It makes commentary fun, bro. You know, spectators love it as well. I mean, right, Neptune? I mean, chaos, that's what makes things fun, whether it's traditional sports or esports.
yeah, exactly. You know, PB, I really want to see it not only on the Southern Island. I want to see a prison finish. That is a good location, and it never goes there. It's just too far. But that was a fun end zone.
You know, on that note, it was so wild because the zone went there, right? And it's super rare. We never see that, yada, yada, yada. But it was hilarious because none of the teams knew how to play it. Because, like, no one's ever played an end zone there. And it was like, where are the strong positions? Where do we go? And ultimately, I believe it was 4 Dragons that came out on top. Obviously not relevant to Premier Division. But, again, praying for that chaotic end circle. Maybe we see it on those Eastern Islands. Maybe we see it on the Southern Island. Maybe we see it in Los Leones. Who knows what's in store for us? But again, going to be eyeballing the likes of Loops. I want to see them come out and put together a whole game here. I want to see if Intense Game shows up. And I want to see if Hyper can turn things around. That's who I got my eyes on here for this next battle.
You know, Loops was a great team on Miramar during the America Scrims. There was one player left, and he was camping in a container, and they ended up getting a 3-piece. A team was just around him, surrounded. They didn't check the container. He pops out. He gets all the eliminations. Wonderful job from them. And one team that I'm looking out for, not my prediction, but Mezexis. And Hot Jukes, you actually mentioned them. Eliminated right off the rip. You know, a team that should be playing much better. Maybe they're going to get it here in game number 2. But let's do our predictions. And hopefully we have everybody this time. Intense Game. We'll see if they join into the mix. But Neptune, I'm going to start with you. Prediction. Who you going for?
I'm going to be going for V2 on this. They did such a good job on that Erangel in the first game. They wanted that win. It just wasn't going to be in their favor. YKG were just too strong. Maybe on Miramar, where YKG may not have such a strong advantage there, I think V2 could do it.
All right, V2, love their positioning. If they continue to work that way and kind of, you know, masterfully work those zones, I think they'll be all right. Hot Jukes, what about you? You finally got all the teams here, so are we going to see a repeat on your prediction?
I think so. I think I'm going to crush it. By the way, the first time I ever saw Neptura, I looked at her eyes and I knew that she was a big fan of watching prison fights, you know. But when it comes to this game, you know, this game in particular, I am going to go with the one and only Hyper, right? They had a bad game one, right? Wow. And it comes to Miramar, they love the high ground. We're always going to fire them onto the high ground. And as a matter of fact, my homie Zute would say, if they have the high ground, they win 99.9% of the time. So if they can find it here, they should win.
And Hyper, from not a great performance game 1 to now a spectacular performance game 2, they're going to turn it around. Now, PB, what about you?
You know, when it comes to Hyper, one of the things I saw last week at PMPL Americas was how they changed up their play style to start looting and rotating incredibly early, prioritizing that zone position, getting established in the middle of the zone, and because of that, I'm not picking them for winning this game. I'm going to go with Intense Game because they inspired so much confidence in game number 1 by not showing up. But in case they don't show up, then I'm not going to go with Hyper either, and we're going to go with, let's see, I'm going to go with Black Mamba.
Black Mamba, the new team coming into the mix from Challengers. I like it. Let's see how they do. For me, I'm going to go C4. I think this is going to be their game. Predictions are in, and game number 2 is ready to drop in. We got Miramar, drop 2. We got Mustache Dave joining into the mix along with Hot Jukes. Boys, take it away for map 2.
Mustache Dave, the man, the myth, the legend. DBS Dave, talk to me, brother. And also, we got to hear what your prediction is going into match number 2.
Hey, big thanks. Happy to be here. Man, I just missed the plane here. I didn't update my game, so, you know, it is what it is. I get you next time, Clint. Don't be too angry at me. But prediction time. Let's get into it. I gotta say, C4 Esports, man, this was something that they did in season 1. They were extremely consistent all season long, and then we saw on that final day, boom, first place. So they just they got 3rd place in game number 1. I think if C4 can just keep being their consistent selves, we should be looking at them a little more here. But Jukes, let's get into it because I see Loops already getting involved.
Here they go. Right off the rip. This is going to be against C4. Okay. All right. And it looks like Rockets only got the revolver here. That's going to make things interesting. That R45. He's going to have to hit these shots big time. Can he do it? He's got 1. He's got 2. But that M16 single tap is going to shut him down. Taylor loving every minute of it. Watching this.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely tough, man. It is definitely tough with the revolver. But Loops, man, they are not done. They are not down and out because you know what? We got that Uzi in play right over here. I believe we got 2 members of Loops still in the front lines looking to take this fight. Daddy Payne, SKS in hand, trying to get this revive. Will they get it? Dude, they did just in time.
Ayala with that knock was so huge, but they did get that res. But Chiflo with the double knock. That is going to be C4 in big trouble. You want to change your pick? Change it. Change it now. Change it. Change it.
Oh, man. At least I didn't pick intense game 1, Hot Jukes. All right, that's all I'm going to say, man. That's all I'm going to say. But C4, okay, listen. Season 1, they had one bad game too. So season 2, this is their bad game. I give it to them. You know, Hot Jukes, I've known you for a long time now, and you got this one thing that you trademarked here.
What is it?
Trademark pending. I think you call it like the Hot Jukes excuse card.
That's right. The excuse card.
Is
Yes,
that right?
it is a punch card, and it is
Punch
available at the start of tournaments. Yes.
At the start of tournaments. And okay, so C4 cashing in early here.
Okay.
I'm not worried. Not worried at all. But let's see a replay just in case you missed my pick getting demolished in the first couple minutes.
Dude, Loops losing one early. C4 going out. That is going to be tough. You know, Taylor, I want to see what he's looking at right now. You know, is he looking at the roof or down at his love handle? I'm kidding. I love you, bro.
Whoa, what's going on here?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. His family said it, not me.
Okay, yeah, let us know. We'll follow up with that.
I'm looking at mine. They're ready.
They're ready.
Warmed up and ready here.
Warmed up and ready, man. The buns have been in the oven. Now, Mezexis, what do you think about them? I mean, I think they're a scrappy bunch. I think they got
When it comes to Mezexis,
Season 2 is theirs.
Mezexis definitely got it. That's for sure, right? We've seen Mezexis get it done plenty of times here in the past. So as long as they're able to kind of just stay consistent, it shouldn't be a problem.
All right. So did I ask you who you picked? I'm sorry if I didn't. I went
for Hyper.
I
went for Hyper here. Yeah, and Hyper just because, you know, I think they had a bad game 1. They're going to look to bounce back here. And if they find that high ground, it's going to be interesting to see.
Right?
Yeah, 99% victory.
So
but I got a question for you.
Hold on, I got a
go ahead.
question for you.
Go ahead, follow up on me. Give it to me.
The follow-up, does that 99.8% chance, does it change when they swap up a couple players? Because I think in the pregame lobby, I saw Shifan subbing in. So I wanted to get your honest opinion on that.
It makes it actually to 99.99%.
Ooh, it actually adds a percent. Or
that is correct.
0%.
That's right. Shifan's a beast, and he's going to be able to get it done with his team. He's very analytical, so I think they're going to play this even more carefully going into this match and look to bounce back strong. You know, Shifan definitely made a name for himself as time has gone on here.
Bounce back from what? Hold up, bounce back from what?
Game
second
1.
Place? Oh, game 1. Okay.
Game 1.
Okay.
Yeah, game 1. Game 1.
Yeah.
Not the tournament. They're obviously crushed it, you know. Yeah. I think they're still a little hurt deep down because they're one of those teams that's so competitive that even though they got second place, I guarantee you they're like the most pissed off team.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think the Titan Series Season 2 is going to be a big help for them, like you mentioned, to kind of fine-tune their skills, their play style, and their strategy here heading into PMWI, which is the huge stage in its own right. So looking forward to Hyper. Honestly, that would have been my pick, but I want to kind of mix it up a little bit. That's why I went with C4. And I'm going to stick with C4 here today. I think C4 have it, what it takes. Talking about who might not have what it takes just because of their current position here. The two members that we see right now, Skipper and Klaus from Dauntless, a little separated here, Hot Jukes.
Yeah, real separated. He's going to go with that DBS, though. Oh, get another big shot. I like how the fact that he gave that up, because I think he would have been in deep trouble if that was the case. Maybe the rest of his team could come and help out after that initial one. He might even be able to jump out of a window and get to safety. So we'll see what Klaus opts to do as Jaguar is forced to reset.
DBS is all you need, man. DBS, 1v4, no problem.
Oh, look at Terran on that off angle. That's gonna be disgusting.
Now we're gonna be following up with some grenades over here. Team Jaguar, they might be caught in a pinch in the stairwell. They need to avoid these grenades and the DBS. They got still pre-fire through that doorway. Oh, but shots connecting right there, Hot Jukes.
Jaguar are doing a really good job, but with Skipper getting that knock, now they're in big trouble. Seba's gonna have to make a play with an AK. He does. And now Dauntless, Skipper, gonna have to hold it on his own. You can see the pre-fire coming out. Wow. Oh, it's Skipper. The love handle is getting popped off. And down goes Skipper.
The slightest angle right there with that pre-fire, just beautiful.
Gotta keep them separated.
Team Jaguar coming out on top. So I know you were going to ask me a question. Is it too late for that?
Well, baby Bray make it out alive here. He's in between GK first in a hard place, and that's going to be your answer, folks. These vehicle rotations in Miramar are always so difficult, and Hyper getting done early. Now, okay, the question I have for you.
Yeah.
Kate.
I'm waiting.
Okay? When it comes to the Titan series, right, this is a different tournament. All right.
Fire.
Right now, we saw in PNPL the drop locations of a lot of these teams. Now, we know YKG likes to go El Pozo, but in PNPL, they gave up El Pozo to Alpha 7, okay? So now they're landing back there. Do you think we're going to see some of these top squads just go back to their old locations or try to stick with that place they think they're going to be at when it comes to these future tournaments?
Nah, I think you drop according to the global stage, you know. I think that's the play, because you know, like you're saying, you could drop here in this lobby where you prefer to drop, but then when you go to that next global, you're going to be forced out of there most likely. So you might as well just practice a new drop spot, in my opinion, Hot Jukes.
I agree. I think that's the play. So that's why I'm a little bit concerned seeing YKG go to El Pozo here, right? It makes me just wonder, game, like. Yeah, they did win. They did win. So maybe they're saying, hey, you know what? Alpha 7's not playing in this one, so might as well practice it for now. But I think it's more advantageous to stick to that spot you really think you're going to be in when it comes to that highest level of gameplay.
Totally agree. This is going to be Black Mamba and the Butterfly Effect. Butterfly Effect used to be known as Wall Street Bet, some of their old team members, if I'm not mistaken. Going to be over here. I see Kubi over there. So Butterfly Effect. New name, who it is? A lot of new names here.
Yeah.
A lot of new player names, a lot of new team names. I love to see it here on day number 1.
Yeah, Butterfly Effect, game 1, we're a little frustrating because they made some really bad decisions smoke-wise, right? They smoked out their own Wizard Tower and basically just gave the game over to YKG when they had such a dominant position. So, I mean, I love to see this kind of happen early on, right? We talk about that excuse card, right? I'll punch it for a Butterfly Effect game 1. I'll say, hey, maybe they just tried something different. I don't know, right? But hopefully they really are able to do some VOD reviews, reveal those mistakes that they've made, and just adapt over time.
So I remember C4, I remember Dauntless. Did I miss, was I blinking? What happened to YKG this game?
What was that? C4?
Oh, YKG.
YKG.
What happened to them?
What happened to YKG?
What happened to YKG?
They went El Pozo.
Oh, yeah. See, I was just testing you, man.
They went El Pozo.
I love this live little health tracker that we got
so
now.
Great.
Yeah, it is great. As you can in real time see players getting shot. You can see them healing up. It's remarkable here on Jukes.
So it was Jaguar that takes out YKG early, right? They have 8 eliminations. They are big chilling here to start things off. So
that's why I picked them to win this game, Team Jaguar. You know,
you did,
and they did lose a member. I'm not even worried. Let's show the replay just in case you forgot.
Oh my gosh. we get to witness the replay. Chico getting absolutely bodied from that angle with that nade. Let's see what the legendary Joey could do. Not a dang thing. What are you going to do 1v4?
Got him.
Man, crazy plays there. So Jaguar doing a great job of pushing here.
Now, one thing the team of YKG have going for them is their massive amount of points they got in game 1. So they're kind of going to be big chilling when it comes to overall leaderboards, but they definitely don't want that to happen again, of course, because then you're going to have to start to think like it's just a momentum killer at that point. Regardless of leaderboard numbers, it stops the momentum. It's a brick wall. So I think that's a true test to see what YKG can do, right? Moving forward in the next 2 games of tonight. Like, can they bounce back after a horrible 0 game? Or do they just go down in the slumps here, Hot Juke? So I think it's a really good test for this team in particular.
100%. You know, I think they really need to get that confidence back. You know what I'm saying? Like a boxer, right? They need to get one of those good games in. They did in the game number 1, but they need a good day where they just kind of feel like, okay, we still got it, guys. Let's just continue to just work on our mistakes that we made in you know, PMPL and really show out here in the Titan series. And you can see Team Jaguar.
6 is back.
Look, yeah, little 6 with execute.
Yeah.
He was forced to kind of put on his dancing shoes in match number 1. Hopefully he can bounce things out. That's a nice shot for that from Fate.
Wow. Didn't even see that coming right there. The suppressed AKM from Fate. With the support of their teammates in the back line, kind of playing the oversight. One of the squad mates of Team Jaguar just instantly deleted right there.
You feel like I keep pronouncing Jaguar wrong, you know?
Yeah.
As long as time I call it Jaguar, right? Jaguar? But it's Jaguar.
I mean, it is what it is, you know?
It is what it is, right? Tomato, tomato, that's what I said.
Tomato, I call it a tomato. What do you call it?
I call it tomato as well. Why not? Or
Why not?
sometimes a tomate.
Oh, well, here we go. As still 2 more Jaguars active. You know what really hurts is I really wish we had the Jaguars versus the Panthers, you know, the 2 cats on the battlefield. But I think we have one little Panther strolling around here in this lobby, if I'm not mistaken, at least.
Yeah, he was under, I believe, the title of C4. That's right. So, I mean, I wonder where players like Big Nate, we're going to see them end up. That's going to be interesting.
Nate was such a clutch player. Yeah, for sure. I hope. And I think that's one of the beauties, right, of the Titan series is that we got the stats. You know, we got so much gameplay, replays. I think it's a good opportunity for these solo players who really have performed to the best of their abilities to easily find a place to get picked up moving forward in their PUBG Mobile career.
TitanSeries.gg, that's the place to look if you're looking to pick up some new players. Let's take a look at where this next zone is going to go. It's got a water treatment circle. Always an interesting zone to see. Aton getting blown up. Oh my gosh, only 1 player left. And he's in big trouble. And Hyper looking to finish him off, and they do.
Beautiful, beautiful little wraparound right there. The confidence from N Hyper to take out Aton.
Run.
You mentioned, but now going to be fighting the blue zone. They're right there on the edge, but the next circle does shift all the way out there to that west side, so they will need to make up their mind. Do they try to gatekeep, stick back a little longer, get a couple more elims, or do they just instantly reposition here?
Man, and Hyper is such a crazy team, right? Because we talk about like things teams need to work on, right? Okay, do they need to work on their team synergy? Do they need to work on their rotation, positioning? So many things you can, driving skills. Literally, and Hyper, the only thing they got to work on is their clutch. That's it. And it's the hardest thing to teach, Dave, right? You can't, as some say, it can't be taught, right? You got to either have it or you don't. And then Hyper, always towards the end of tournaments is where they just kind of seem to struggle to get it done, at least when it comes to getting that first place tournament finish. So hopefully we can see Hyper finally work through that here.
Yeah, I definitely agree that the clutch factor is something that you kind of just have to experience. And once when you're forced, your back is against the wall, do or die, that's when you really dig deep, right? And you can tell if you have that that killer instinct. So I do like that we have over the last couple of months seen and Hyper just get better every single day, every single lobby. Definitely a team to keep your eye on here moving forward, and especially when we see them in PMWI, Hot Jukes.
See if they can get there as well. You can see Shifan popping some shots on the Remix. Remix still alive. Remix a monster player. He's gonna try to hunt down position. He's most likely gonna go out to blue zone here.
Papa
Yeah. Yep. Papa blue. Always so savage. Goodbye, remix.
Hey, denied the point though. Very heads up play, honestly. Denied the point because this is only day 1, game 2. So every single point matters here, Hot Jukes. We've seen tournaments, the deciding factor be 1 point. So you never know. That could have been that 1 point to kind of save them here. But moving forward, 9 teams to go. Looks like Hyper for Elim so far. Kind of on the hunt over here on this east side. Just kind of strolling, looking for that perfect little dip call home for the time being to wait it out for this next circle.
Butterfly effect in a good position zone-wise, just forced on the defense side. Now, we've already seen them struggle defensively once before, and I do not like how they're holding the spot. I mean, they could easily get pushed up on by a full squad. Hopefully, they can tighten things up here.
Yeah, I believe Gooby was the player who decided to name this squad the Butterfly Effect because they just love Ashton Kutcher and his performance in the movie, the motion picture. So
good picture, good
Good picture,
good
cool little backstory right there. 5 points to their name. Still 4 up. One of their players are going to be knocked down, not knocked down, but knocked down a couple pegs when it comes to the health department. Looks like they are slowly healing up. So they're looking pretty good here this game, Hot Jukes.
Yes, sir, they are. Black Mamba not looking too good. Only 1 player up, forced to try and get, and he's at the edge of the zone, so is done for. Where's the sun gonna go on? Right on the W or right on the Otter? Both. Beautifully done. Full. This is a nice hill too, so there is plenty of position to be able to kind of just slowly creep your way in. A lot of different hills, defilades. So we're gonna see that from a lot of these teams. You can see Kindness heading up for his squad here. Oh, a nice shot there. Really tight peaks from Kindness. He's got to watch out for that off angle though. That's where it's gonna really kick him in the butt.
Yeah, this is going to be Hyper and Bope on the east side of the zone, trying to fight it out, trying to stake their claim over here on the lip of the hill. Ooh,
oh my
Kindness
gosh.
with some nice shots with the M4. Does have some cover to dip behind and get the heal off. As looks like we got a couple smokes on the battlefield as well. But the off angle from Bope was knocked down and out. Here comes Chiefon with the very aggressive push in the front lines.
All right.
Grenade in hand, getting ready to toss that one. And now here comes the teammates.
I love to see Hyper take these fights.
I mean, just methodical right there. The communication. And remember, Chiefon is playing as a sub. And their communication, the way they're playing is just on another level here, Hot Juke.
Crushing it. 8 eliminations so far, and Hyper looking real good. Execute still alive. Fate with 2 eliminations. Now going up against Butterfly Effect. This is going to be for that northern position. Huge battle here. Can Sixless do Sixless things, right? He's been, I don't know. Maybe he's been taking a knee for too long. He's gonna get warmed up here soon. Fate with the YOLO nade, the Hail Mary nade. Look at this.
Debo.
Oh, that was a low toss? Wow, what an interesting nade for Fate.
It's pretty much a 1v4 where Debo on the front lines with the DBS will knock Sixless on their knees. But now, where are the teammates? Butterfly Effect. We had Debo putting in work, clocking in here. That was their moment to kind of close that gap. Now we do see the smoke tunnel will be providing that soft cover as they look to get awfully close. But look at that in the back lines. And Hyper trying to third party this as well, Hot Jukes.
Trick with the beautiful pre-nade is going to stop that fight. What I was talking about, it was like Butterfly Effects splits just a little too far away, and they get caught out. And Execute going to revive Sixless here and have to finish the match with 3 players up. And Hyper right on top of him, though. That's dangerous.
Very dangerous here. I'm looking at Wanted Vigilantes. I believe looking at previous seasons, Miramar was their best performing map, and they do still have 4 up. No elim so far, though, is my only concern, as we do have 6 teams to go. And I believe Wanted Vigilantes actually won a game from that cliff over there in the water treatment a couple times. So they're very comfortable with that position. Let's see if they can defend or take the fight up against Mezexis here very shortly, Hot Jukes.
Ooh, on a Vigilantes. Let's see where the zone does go. Does it set her on up or hard shift? You know, Loops is praying it goes to them right now. That'll definitely help them out because crossing that street is going to be very, very difficult.
Ooh.
Execute. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And Hyper in it to win it here. If they're able to finish off this fight against Execute, they got this game. They got this in the bag. Here they go.
Nice little push. GK first in the front lines with the UMP, grenade in hand. Kindness with the MG3 in the back lines. The spray and pray. Sixless was revived, trying to heal up, but GK first getting third partied over there.
Woo!
Forced inside the compound. That's going to be V2 Esports trying to spoil this push right now, Hot Jukes.
Fake gonna have to mount a monstrous defense with his team, especially when you got V2 on top of the hill, making things that much more difficult. The longer this fight goes on, the more deadly it is for both of them. And Kindness hit the nade he does on the Fate. That's a huge opening.
Big opening knock right there. To confirm, Sixless M4. Looks like they're going to be using this broken wall for cover for the time being. But I'm looking at the mini map. And Hyper, they kept one in the back line, Hot Jukes.
Ran on that off angle is gonna really be clutch for him. Oh, he actually took some shots at Sixless, barely missed them. So let's see what they ought to do. Sixless guys pan out. Looking to cook something up.
Oh,
it ain't gonna be chicken.
That grenade, Hot Jukes.
It ain't gonna be chicken. I'll tell you that right now.
Ooh, wow. And Hyper, 11 elims so far this game. Loops, though, very thankful that they were able to kind of remain underneath the radar for the time being because they did have that difficult push in the field. But now, look at this. 2 of them on their knees. So even though they were able to close the gap, they were caught out in the process.
Oh, and you can see right there on the health drawer, right? Loops, the final player, does get a first date off. There it is, Ayala. And trying to just buy some time for his squad. Looks like he will get these reses right on time. Wanted Vigilantes dominating Mezexis.
I gotta say, once again, Loops just kind of getting really lucky because this fight is going to allow them most likely to get revived and picked up when they only had a solo pretty much still up and active. So Mezexis trying to hold down this building for the time being. Here comes V2 with the third party. They want to get a piece of the action themselves. And yep, Loops was picked up. So all 3 members back up and in.
That's huge for them. That's huge. Even though they lose one early, right? They still stay alive. And they're such a huge threat because almost every squad is here on the south side of this circle. Oh my gosh, what a shot from Tempo though.
Yeah, that head just too exposed, playing whack-a-mole right there. Exactly. 13 elims on N Hyper. That's my concern, though. They're set up pretty good. They're also playing the 3-1 still. And you know, when you have this many elims in the late game, you are feeling it, Hot Juke. So they are looking to steamroll and get this winner wearing chicken dinner now with 15 elims. 15
eliminations. Rin on his off angle is destroying, and Shifan said, okay, I want a piece of this. I'm gonna head towards you. So Shifan looking to do this. Look at this circle.
Look at that.
Every single team is here. It's N Hyper all day long. Man, back to back with the picks. I'm crushing it.
Wow. Yes. N Hyper just need to be patient and let the enemies come to them pretty much.
Oh, it's over. They have all the real estate in the world. This is zone 6. All these teams are battling for second place at this point. Who's gonna get it? Who's your money on?
Second place? I'm sticking with Loops, man. I know we're down just a solo with 50% HP, but they've been scrapping it out here so far. Not gonna give up on them yet.
Only one player up for them, and you see Tempo getting absolutely earholed right there by GK first through the window. Such a tight peek. So disgusting. And here he goes. I think he wants to check his back just in case. He's that nervous. Little does he realize every single player is stuck right here.
Now you have the player advantage. You have to know this if you're in Hyper. Do you just send one in just to send them in and see what they can do here to try to close this out sooner? Or do you think they're going to focus on just getting the clean dub here?
100%. Look where they're at in the zone, right? All those players are going to have to come out towards them. Fishy does go down. So if you're in Hyper, just sit back, relax, hit the right shots, and you should have the dub.
Oops, in third right there. So it looks like V2 Esports will at least confirm second place. We're not done yet because Cartman looking to make a play, was immediately stopped right there. GK first. I was going to throw the pan for a second there, Hot Jukes.
Oh, that would have been nice. Juan, probably going to go deny the point. Yep, I think that's exactly what he's going to do. And that's going to be Ed Hyper.
Wow.
With the big dub here, Dave. That's a lot of eliminations.
Big dubs all day, man. That's all they do. And Hyper showing up day 1, season 2 of the Titan series, forged in fire. Looking to take that crown here, Hot Jukes. And you know what? Game 1 didn't go their way. You mentioned it, but game 2, whew, they had something to say.
Oh my goodness. Once they started getting that high ground and just started doing their splits, they just got it done. I love to see them take those early fights, though. Usually in Hyper is very, very safe, right? They just do these really clean rotations, and if they can avoid an early mid-game engagement, they do. But this time, they pushed, and they got it done.
Jukes, let me ask you here. Favorite part of game 2?
Favorite
Besides
part of
C4
game
getting
2.
taken out real early on, and that was my pick.
First, best part of game 2, obviously, I think for me was seeing Hyper have a bounce back moment. I think that was really good, and they did it with a stamp on top. I mean, it's kind of really hard to beat that.
Well, Hot Jukes, let's bring back everybody else here and see what they have to say about game number 2.
What I got to say, a wild ride. I mean, literally take, game 1, turn it on its head. Now you got game 2 in terms of results in Hyper. Well done from them. Getting the big dub, 28 points, tons of elims. Positioning was absolutely wonderful at the end. The question was asked, do you push up and get the finishes and end game 2 early? Do you kind of take your time? Taking your time was absolutely the right call. So they go from 14th place in game 1 to first place in game 2. A wonderful performance. But Neptura, let's go to you, right? Because we look at YKG from first place, standout game 1. They're still doing all right, I'm sure, in terms of standings, to absolutely abysmal placing in game 2, finishing almost last, as we just saw there, Jaguar finishing them off quickly.
Yeah, it's such a shame because YKG, they're such a good team, but they're such a hot and cold team, right? They just, and they do this a lot. They win and then they go out first, in the next game, and it's just really frustrating because they are such a good team. They have what it takes. They just are lacking that consistency, and that's what we need to start seeing from them. It's super frustrating, but you know what? They've got all the makings of a great team. If they get that one thing down, they will be dominant left, right, and center, I think.
Without question, and we even saw some sixless action coming out, Mustache Dave, about, Execute doing really well. It was nice to see sixless kind of come back into the mix during the America scrims, and obviously now watching them play here in the Titan Series Season 2 Week 1. Execute, not a bad team.
Yeah, honestly, I'm looking at a couple of these teams, right, that kind of brought on a new teammate, and in particular Sixless. We haven't seen them compete for a hot minute now here on this main stage, so I'm really curious to see what a couple of these players, what will they bring to the table, and when will they bring it to the table type of deal.
True. And Jukes, I mean, kindness to MVP Season 1. We saw him, wonderful nade up top. He was tearing it up. Of course, the entire team really of our dominant teams in general in Hyper, a team that just turned it around. But let's talk about consistent teams, because YKG is hot and cold, as Neptura said. But Loops, top 5 game 1, top 3 in game number 2, not racking up the most points, but still being consistent. And then you look on the other end too, you have V2, back-to-back second places.
Good for that. I mean, that's the most consistent team, right? I mean, they are crushing it right here. But I mean, it's gonna be hard to keep up on the leaderboards when you got Hyper doing 18 eliminations.
Oh my
Are
God.
you kidding me?
That's a lot, dude. What did YKG have? 15, right? I think they had 15.
Yes.
Yeah.
Already
Come on.
broken the record.
Jesus. That's actually wild. From 15 to 18 in Neptura. I mean, they're obviously going to be all over this board. We see Butterfly Effect randomly coming in there with most assists, but for the most part, it's in Hyper.
It is, and you know what stat is zero revives. No one got knocked on that team the entire game with 18
rare is that?
eliminations. That is
that pretty rare?
insane. That feels pretty rare to me. Yeah, I haven't seen that before.
Wild. Look at our
That's
points
insane.
now, Dave and Hyper in first place. Or at least for the ranking so far. One to Vigilantes, though, it was nice to see them do well in Game 2, because Game 1, you know, they started off strong, getting a full team elimination onto Mexis, but then they ended up dropping right after that. Much stronger placing in Game 2, but still in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, good call out because we're starting to see. We saw an amazing game from YKG. We saw an amazing game from and Hyper. For me, the next team that we really need to see it has to be Loops, in my opinion. Like you said, have been consistent, but Loops, they're known to be one of the top fraggers in their region. So I'm curious to see when will that be here today on day number 1.
Ooh, it's like Game 1 didn't even happen, and Hyper says, let's start getting it going, Hot Jukes. In Game number 2, they take over first, but just by 5 points. V2, they come up the leaderboards with their consistent second places. They round out in third, YKG holding on to second. But let's look a little bit further down. Any teams that stand out to you that should be doing better?
Ooh, I think Dauntless is definitely one of them, right? Klaus, I think, has been really struggling, just getting hot. They had a really interesting fight early on. You know, I think it's just how they split up was just a little bit too far. They just got picked off one by one.
Tough break for them. We are at our halfway point. 2 maps down, 2 more to go, right? This is week 1. This is where you want to start off strong in the Titan series for season 2. So with 2 more games to go, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, though, we'll be dropping into map 3 Sanhok. Don't go anywhere.
right into Kindness, saying you can have it. Kindness, grenade themselves with that 360 toss, and Kindness with the SK dog.
Oh, that ball! Oh, what a shot!
just ahead.
There goes one hot juicy cat god, popping up with the MG3, peppering away right here. There's one, back to 1v1. Cartman down really low with the DBS, and there goes cat god for the win.
And welcome back, everybody, to Titan Series Season 2, Week 1. 2 games down, 2 more to go. We're at our halfway point, and we've already seen a big shakeup when it comes to our top standings. I'm your host, Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Mustache Dave, Enigma joining into the mix, and of course, tried and true, Neptura on the desk. Now, Dave, you had a lot of time to talk. If you don't mind, I'm going to give it to Enigma. He's back. He joined us for the America Scrims, and now you're on the desk for Titan Series. How you feeling, brother? Fantastic.
Epic.
It's okay. Hey, don't let the face fool you. That man is excited to be here, and I promise you he's going to be bringing the fuego because chat loves him. Enigma, you got me now?
Yeah, I got you now, I guess.
All right.
Reflection. Sorry about it. I was reading
all
some
good,
DMs,
baby.
Unfortunately, but we're here now.
Hey, you would be a great poker player, dude. That was a wonderful stone face. I know you're excited to be
Hey, I
here.
mean-
Dave, yeah, you're a wonderful person. Dave, we're about to hop into game number 3. We've had a lot of great moments and good predictions. You did go with Hyper, right? Well, actually, you went with Jaguar, then you went with somebody else, then you went with Loops. So
Yeah, and I ended up with Hyper. So, I mean, think about it. The time I pick them, they get like 18 elims. So, who am I going to pick this next game? I haven't decided yet.
whoever pays you the most, right? That's
Yeah.
what it's going to be. Hey, Neptura, we've had a lot of great moments today, and I know you, being an analyst yourself, you might want to break down one of our great moments of the day. So let's go ahead and
Heck
hop
yeah.
into it and hear what you have to say.
Let's do it. Absolutely. Yeah, I just wanted to go back to this because, you know, we had an 18 elimination win from you, and it all started here, honestly. They already had a couple of kills on this point, but this is where it really comes in. And look at that, you got Shifan action with the vehicle, you've got Rin as well right behind him, and I just wanted to point out that, you know, momentum, we always talk into great momentum, and I've just realized watching this, what momentum really is using every opportunity to push up. So every time they had the advantage against Bope, they were moving forward and forward and forward, and Bope couldn't do a thing about it. They had some cover, but it wasn't enough for Rin, for the DBS. They just couldn't do it, and that's what momentum is really all about. So thanks Hyper for pointing that out to me and everybody else.
That was a fine example of perfect aggression, I think, as opposed to reckless aggression in Hyper, a team that really took this week number 1 by storm from game number 2. Let's see if they can do it in game 3 going into Sanhok. It's time for our quick predictions. Neptura, I know I just had you on for your, or at least for your analysis. Now it's time for even more. Who's winning map 3?
I'm gonna go back to C4 on this one. They're usually pretty darn good on Sanhok, so yeah, I'm going with C4.
C4 from last place in game 2 to maybe first place in Sanhok. And Hyper actually did it. Enigma, what about you? Who are you going with real quick?
I'm going to have to follow Neptura on this one. We're definitely going with the
Heck
C4
yeah.
pick. She's got to be knowing what she's talking about with all this sort of stuff, so I'm feeling it for game 3.
All right, C4 across the board it seems, except for Dave. Who you going for, and only give me one?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with see ya later because I'm going with Loops Esports.
Oh, man. I'll remember this
Dang
one.
it.
I like it. Well, Loops for sure is going to get top 3. Will they get first? I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to see that. For me, though, I'm going to go YKG. Let's see if they can do it. Now it's time for Dave as well as Enigma. Let's carry it over into Sanhok, map 3.
Yes, sir. Map number 3. We are back in the mix. Sanhok is the map here. Enigma, tell me, what should we be looking forward to here on day 1, game 3 of the Titan series?
Well, I mean, for what I'm looking at, it's going to be mostly just all these sorts of fights that happen on Sanhok. This is not a forgiving zone map. You're not going to be able to get away if you like sitting on the edge. You're going to need to be fighting everyone. And as I'm saying that, I mean, Butterfly Effect taking the easy kill off drop onto, of course, Neptura and I's pick C4.
Listen, caster cursing definitely is a thing. I know a lot of people joke about it, but it's a real thing. I picked the C4 last game, immediately taken out. This game, you and Neptura are picking C4. They're not done yet, but they lost 3 members here, Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really feeling the power I get from that caster's curse, and, you know, C4 is absolutely wide. Power banks at a great last time. You know, he loves feeling the power. He loves being able to give NA that hope of being able to take out these other teams. And I mean, NA on top for the first 2 games, both having double-digit kills, which is crazy to me. But I'm really, you know, the C4 pick was obviously number 1, but number 2 for me had to have been Jaguar. They've been having, you know, 4 kills the first game. They died early, and same thing essentially the second game. So I'm really interested to see if some of these teams that are getting these early kills, these early squad wipes, are able to pick it up into the late game.
So I just looked at Jaguar. They are safe for the time being. I was like, okay, he said Jaguar, so they're definitely going to be eliminated. Nobody near them for the time being. They got a little 3-1 split going on right now, so we'll have to pay attention to that. But real quick, during the break, AMG gifting 100 memberships in the chat. And then I believe it was also followed up from your queen with 50 Titan Series memberships. So it's raining. It is raining memberships right now in the chat. So congrats to everyone that was fortunate enough to get one. Oh, and then John Doe, 20. It is just membership day here today. Members only here for the Titan Series Season 2, Enigma.
Yeah, shout out to John Doe. You know, I actually had the pleasure of meeting him in Atlanta a few months ago. One of the greatest guys in the community I met. I believe it was with Coffee Gaming as well. He's done some stuff previously with the Titan Series. You know, always love seeing people in the community doing stuff that just, you know, helps grow and, you know, entice the people that love playing this game.
Talking about the love of the game here. Yang just enjoying, you know, enjoying the sunset. Probably checking the chat to see if they also got the membership. But over here, we'll get back to that because Mezexis, what is going on? Inactive pulling up with the DBS. I mean, talking about having the confidence, I get it. But now it's up to Tempo, trying to clean up what looks like Xtreme Slayers right now.
I mean, Xtreme Slayers just absolutely going crazy right now with the DBS. I'm really just wondering what that pull-up was all about, if they had an opening knock, or if it was just, hey, you know, we're going to full send this. But, you know, unfortunately not going the way for Mezexis in this fight. And Xtreme Slayers actually being able to keep all 4 up. They will be able to get the reset, hopefully, on Julian. So I'd love to see, you know, just exactly what happened with Mezexis' plan there. Really just got a question in some ways. You know, Hachuk said it first in game 1. You know, we got to really be looking at some of these teams because this is going to be a 3-week qualifier into the finals play. You have to be that top 16 to make it on. We'll have to put a note on that because Trick was beaming Jin out of the truck. I never liked that whip. He's going for it again with the QBZ, and he just can't hit the shots.
Yeah, you asked what was the plan for Mezexis. The plan was to go back to lobby so they can quickly type in the UC code that we showed on the screen. So that was the plan. Hopefully they were able to acquire that UC. But like you said, we're seeing some shots ring out right now. Executes one of the teams already. Casper 1 elim in the pocket.
Yeah, a little freebie.
A little freebie. Yeah, I was going to ask you, because you have a ton of pro player experience underneath your belt. I mean, Team Totality, Wildcard Gaming. Heck, you're so good. You even had your own team, Enigma Fan Club.
I mean,
so I got to know some rules of the trade here on Sanhok. What are some do's and don'ts on Sanhok, in your opinion?
I mean, the do's are definitely, you know your research, because you know Execute likes dropping on that west side of the island. BLK definitely shouldn't have lost a member there in any way. You usually just look back, you know, map research, that sort of stuff, and you're just wondering, okay, where are they going to hold in a zone like this? And you getting caught out with probably the only car for your team is really just going to be putting you in a horrible position for Sanhok later in the game.
Rules of the trade right there from the man himself.
Yep, the multi-millionaire. I mean, you know, I love being here. You know, everyone here has been great to me. You know, it's something new. But, you know, we always love learning stuff.
Heck, man, I was looking up, did a little bit of research. You started playing in 2019 in New York. So,
yeah, that definitely a lot of memories with that event. You know, a lot of just great moments. ESL was definitely one of the main things that got me into the game, you know, with their community-oriented tournaments. And there was some other, you know, third-party tournaments that were outside of the regular PUBG circuit. But, you know, with the LAN events and stuff like that, it's always, you know, that's what it's all about for me, is being able to meet, you know, teammates for the first time. I mean, you know, I've met HH a half dozen times just through LAN events, and he's my best friend. So, why not go and meet him?
And now we're here, man. Forging the teams in fire. Titan Series Season 2, Match 3 right now. Got the stats. We got the live tracker on the side here. I mean, it has just been remarkable. And last season was the NA. Now it's the Americas here. We got teams from all over. Brazil. I mean, it is not stopping anytime soon. Just continuing to just be better every single season. And just so cool to be part of this here. As we do have somewhat of a slow moment, a little sizzle here in the action. As teams are kind of just probably deciding where their next move should be depending on the circle shift.
Yeah, I mean, Loops, just one of the front runners for the last America's event stuff. Unfortunately, a little bit of an underperformance from them, not finishing in that top 3 like I was expecting them to do. But Hyper really just showing off in PMPL Americas, unfortunately not getting second. But from what I believe, as of yesterday through Twitter, they are going to be the team invited for NA to PMWI to make sure to check that, make sure it doesn't change at all like it has the last few days. But I mean, that'll be awesome to see. They're a staple Nova Esports roster that's now Hyper. They've been, to multiple events. I've personally met Zfon and stuff like that in New York, which is funny. You had said it earlier. But, they've been such a forefront team, and it's always, just a thorn in their side, I think, of just not being able to get that last step to these LAN events. So seeing them, possibly being the team representing NA playing at PMWI is just a real weight lifted off their shoulders, I think.
Brings a tear to my eye. It brings a tear to my eye. I mean, just watching them grow. I mean, they are one heavy contender. And talking about tears to the eyes, we might see a couple tears here very shortly on Sanhok, as it does look like Execute might be trying to Navy seal it right behind Team Jaguar over there. I'm not sure they're aware, but to make matters worse, we also have Black Mamba in the mix. We can see on the left-hand side. So
yeah,
3
teams.
Like
stealing ideas, I think right now everyone got the same idea of Hot 10. One of my old drop spots. Definitely a lot of roofs you can play on, but Black Mom is definitely, I think, just going to be waiting to see if Execute fights Team Jaguar, a team I personally wouldn't want to fight as they've been wiping teams early on in the last 2 matches. So let's see a Trick actually getting caught out by Vitex, hitting with a little prone wall action. Execute now know that this place is taken. Fate getting a return knock with the M4, and Vitex is going to have to back up. He's going to have to regroup with his team. The off-angle knock is not what you want, leaving your team actually in a dire position, but Fate going for the DBS, and Sixless just getting caught out trying to support his teammate. This is just crumbling apart for Execute. Casper, I believe, the last one up. And Execute full wiped. A little bit of just salt in the wound, shooting the box there at the end. I always love seeing that. Some region on region beef.
The BM and Vitex right there with a little dine and dash, tossing out a nice grenade to get the splash damage, and then pulled back. I want to get your take on that, because we saw that happen, but then we saw Execute get aggressive off of that grenade, and it kind of didn't play out in their favor. Like, if you were in game.
Yeah, that's definitely just something involving, people just not on the same page. And, there's some situations where you're just now running around the wall and you get hit by a nade. It's like, okay, what are you going to do? You need to be in a less predictable spot maybe to not get naded out like that. But, I mean, I think it was more so just their communication was not there in terms of their team fighting aspects. But
it's to be expected too. I mean, these teammates might have started playing recently together, so there's always that those couple games that they need to jive together and really get along and feel each other out, right? So one of the big surprises for me there is Black Mamba not really moving a muscle there, Enigma. They're going to be that team on the north tip of the island, and they definitely heard those shots. They heard those grenades, and the reason I'm bringing this up and why I am surprised, because they're in 14th with only 2 points. So I feel like that would have been a nice opportunity to at least attempt the third party right there in that situation.
Yeah, I think with that, I mean, if we're swapping teams right there, if we have Hyper in that northern position spot, I mean, they're going for it. Hyper sees one knock, trades in the kill feed, and it's just a full-out brawl on an open wall. But with that, I mean, we're going into this sort of stuff, there are going to be new teams, new players, even like you just stated. And I think there's going to be some sort of mental block that teams are going to have to get over. Some players, a lot more experience. We can name people like Zfon, the whole Loops roster, Sixless even, where when it comes to fighting and stuff like that, it doesn't matter if you're on a team, what's the right and the wrong play. But unfortunately, with Black Mamba just not being able to recognize that was, a chance for them to really just make their mark in Sanhok.
Talking about recognizing they only have one option here with this circle shift to the north, and that is the classic boat-tate right now. And they're going to actually be avoiding wanted Vigilantes on that boat-tate. My question is, are they going to pull ashore right where Black Mamba is looking, or are they going to zoom by? But here's Black Mamba still in that same position. Now, looks like they're on the defense here of Team Jaguar, attempting to make the breach.
Oh, and just as you said it, I mean, we're seeing Bope just absolutely slamming on the coast, hitting the third party. It's looking like a 2v3, v4 right now, just an easy picking third party. You love to see this if you're Bope. Taking a bit of damage on the pull-up, but I mean, Cat God just, I'm not sure what happened. They were ratting out Jaguar, I think, as they pulled in the compound, and it just must have been turned on. But it's not looking good for either of these teams right now in the compound.
The irony, Cat God pretending to be a rat right now, trying to avoid the sight lines of not one but two teams now, as Bope did pull ashore. Ooh, Cat God, though, not going to be quiet. Cooking a grenade, might pop onto Mercy.
Cooking them up!
Yes, it does. Mercy.
That's what we love to see
that one. Here comes Bope, though, with the instant collapse, as now Team Jaguar, the three remaining members, are on the retreat right now here, Enigma.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the plan was for Jaguar. I know they had to get the reset, they had to get the heals off, but Bope just, maybe this is the turning point. Simple Boy catching one out on Bope, just running out in the open. A little 2v3 action in the compound, but Cat God, I mean, this could be a chance for him to play spoiler. Hadn't seen much out of them. We had the nade knock earlier. I think his kill actually got stolen. He stands up, getting the UMP knock on a Bope. It's just 2 up. Jaguar might be able to just make a whole 180. It's just a bunch of tug of war going on in the compound right now.
Yeah, looks like Cat God will be tossing out a smoke right now to block those sight lines. I do like the boulders that Team Jaguar have to kind of use as cover, but not like that. What? Okay, we tossed the molly, but why stand there and just wait and take those bullets to the teeth right there? I believe one of the teammates from Team Jaguar, they were able to pull back and possibly get the pickup onto Victex in the backlines on the hilltop. So I got to say, Kaka definitely sort of helping Team Jaguar stay alive right now after the Bope push.
Yeah, I'm not expecting that at all. I was really expecting Jaguar just to be completely wiped here, but I mean, I think they're making the smart decision. They're not going to try to keep doing this little 50-50 coin flip, but they don't know where Cat God is and what's going on in the compound, so they're just going to play this one up. But as I said, that Rin doing just a little bit of midnight cruising, almost daylight cruising on the edge of the zone, but oh man, Sabaz, he's running back. Legend just catching him in the back. It's just an all-out brawl on this north side of the map. Everyone else, just sipping their lattes and stuff like that, just catching up the morning sun.
It's a good place to sip a latte for sure. And I'm going to call him Rat God from now on, because those rat strats are definitely playing in their favor. Still alive, by the way. And now Bope in the compound, not even moving a muscle here. And you pointed out, Team Jaguar, almost all of them were able to retreat after that push. So next circle did pop. It is going to be favoring this island. So all three of these teams, they do have a lot more time now to work with. As I say that, we're going to pop over to what looks to be one member from Dauntless up on the high ground, or at least close right here to Loops in the compounds down below.
Yeah, I'd love to look back and see where Dauntless had landed, because we actually usually see Execute take this uphill mountain top on this western island. They usually huge spread like Dauntless is holding right now, but Execute opting to take another option. But it looks like they actually were, they chose to take that northern fight and got wiped. So I'm not, they're definitely gonna be kicking themselves over this one for just making that decision of holding that northern zone for it to come back south.
And talking about potential fights, boot camp still. We got V2 Esports and YKG down there in boot camp. And I'll bring this up because both teams, they need to make that move here, Enigma, because the boot camp is no longer favored in that next circle. The blue zone is going to be slowly pushing in here very shortly. And I don't know. I feel like B2 have the upper hand if they want to at least jump in the water and try to swim. But when they do that, they might get shot like fish in a barrel here. And it looks like 777 actually going to be taking the plunge first here.
Yeah, he's going to be just sending it in the water. I mean, it's just a matter of, do you want to fight on this side of the river or the other side? But we're going to have to put a little pin in that because Terran, she has a chance of just being an absolute just thorn in the side of Hyper. Is he going to go for it?
They don't know.
He's waiting for it a little bit longer.
They don't know.
I'm loving this play, though. They're 4 up.
Oh, not even looking this way.
This is way too suspenseful. I can't handle this. Ren's got a nade out. Oh, but they're fighting. Skipper getting knocked. He gets for the shots.
Oh, there's Ren
going for the 180.
249 swap in the instant flick of the wrist right there. Taken down and out. And the sneak attack from behind. And Hyper, Ren, the only player to be knocked out right there. GK First was in a vehicle that whole time.
Yeah, Skipper, I mean, you just cannot be getting knocked there. It's definitely on him for that sort of fight stuff. And, you know, the player holding the off angle, getting the knock on Ren, just, you know, some players are better at it than others. When your teammate gets shot, you're able to determine exactly where that player might be. And, you know, Kindness, thankfully, being there to get the retrade, while Ren was, you know, getting caught with his pants down, essentially there. Saving Hyper from getting wiped, possibly.
I do like the trap play though. I do like the attempt.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Butterfly effect, Debo.
Butterfly effect, just. I mean, he's got no wings, I guess, on that one, but
no wings.
B2
Caterpillar.
Just 1 up, but he must have just died on rotate essentially. Jaguar losing one in the kill feed. Oh man, it's just this hot tin fight again. Every team's loving this hot spot, I guess.
They are, and then they're not, because guess what? The Circle not loving this hot spot. The Circle is going to be yoinking down there to the south, and that's going to force all these teams to finally duke it out, fight it out as Vitek. So the DBS will be picking up 1. Simple Boy on their knees, looking for the pickup, but Mercy through the window with the pre-fire. We got the DBS skirmish right now, Enigma.
Yeah, and that gun is just, I mean, when you start hearing it go off like that, 3 or 4 people using it, you just cannot handle it. It's just way too intimidating.
That's a Friday night for me.
Well, you know, hey, you know, whatever works, I guess. You're going to have to let me in on some of those nights, but Fishy getting absolutely beamed by Remix. That is, you hate to see that one. The solo picking up basically a freebie. I mean, Butterfly effect, maybe actually stealing this kill.
Listen, if you see somebody on the aqua rail just vibing, let them be, Enigma. Like, Fishy's not hurting anybody out there. Just think about the wind blowing through their hair. I mean, Fishy was trying to do a donut.
Nice little breeze and stuff like that. But, I mean, with that, too, I was sad the first game. There was a glider in that 5th to 6th zone. I love seeing people use that glider going around.
And guess what? Because we feel so bad for Fishy, UC codes for everybody right here. So when Fishy goes down, the chat goes up in UC here.
He's broke and I'm up, baby. Gotta get those car skins, upgrade those M4 skins, you know what I'm saying? Gotta be looking exactly like these players, but Klaus getting, loops. Getting a little crane over the top, little run through, 1 shot with the DBS. But Remix, you know, he had that beautiful spray earlier and he gets sprayed down. So, a little unfortunate.
Teams. Yeah, very unfortunate. 9 teams to go. Jaguar with 7 elims. I am still shocked that they're in it here after that pinch that they're finding themselves in up in the north. So 7 elims. We got Butterfly effect with 7 as well. They're going to be hurting for the time being. But I got my eye still on Loops, man. Loops, only 2 elims, but still 4 strong here on this Sanhok match 3.
Yeah, I mean, on the last event stuff, Loops was popping off every match when they had only 3 players up, so maybe they need to lose Rocket real quick. Get themselves in that prime money spot, as some like to say. See if they can get Loops in those kill spots.
Chiffon not appreciating my pick right there. The 6 times on the M4 from range. Looks like GK First calling for a pickup, but this is one of the downsides. Let me get your take. I mean, we see Hyper all separated right now with a really wide spread, but one of the downsides is we're seeing GK First knocked out, and there's just no support.
Yeah, when you get knocked, I mean, it's just there's no help saving you and stuff like that. Everyone's, you know, 100, 200 meters out. Zfon looks like he's maybe going to go for it. YKG, obviously, with this sort of room settings, we're not able to see that it's actually N Hyper on the mountain. It will be just displaying it as team random number. But YKG, you know, they're going to have to make a play for this mountain. They're stuck on the southwest side. And as I'm saying that, they're getting just absolutely picked off now by Kindness on that far east off angle.
I'm just stunned right there. So Chiffon was able to close the gap. Kindness with the cover fire support. So they had that ultra wide split, and they're still going to be able to pick up GK first here on the hilltop as the next circle does pop. And this is going to be one of the main features right now in the late game, as now looking down below, we got Lopes, we got Aton, we got Bope still in it. YKG, the majority of the lobby, they're going to be duking it out here down below. Oh,
yeah, this down.
What?
Holy, the drive-by ended up in an explosion, Dave.
My goodness.
Oh, man. Loops, though, I mean, it's going to be an all-out brawl. Everyone's going to be looking down from the mountain, or they're going to be slamming this compound. There's no ifs, ands, or outs about it. Bope just dying on the rocks. Zfon actually trying to get some action in still on YKG on this edge of zone. Gonna have to fight him later on at some point, but this compound fight, all this sort of stuff's going to be just free pickings for N Hyper on top of this mountain.
I am still just stuck with that YOLO send. But over here, Loops, Aton, Yala with some nice shots to the doorway right there. Looks like they're trying to prep a grenade, get that tossed over there. And this is very smart because they recognize their opponents most likely have some DBSs, and pushing that building, creating that funnel with the DBSs looking right at you. That's a death sentence. So they're trying to molly them. They're trying to grenade them and just keep them at bay while they're still keeping their head on a swivel over here. Enigma.
Yeah, I think if we came back, you know, a year ago or so, and we had this game playing on, you'd be seeing a lot more aggression going on. But as I'm saying that, Lube's having to take the fight with AT7, getting nade knocked. It's just up to Ayala. They get the reset on his Zoan, and he's looking to go for it. He gets the freebie, the two.
Oh, they're going for the confirm. Oh, through the window! Done and dusted. The confirm, though, at the end. Not even successful.
I mean, he got two of them, but, you know, you're needing 4 to get the squad wipe. Bope now trying to make the hero play right now for his team. Getting caught out from N Hyper up the hill. We're down to just the 4 teams right now. 9 kills on N Hyper and Jaguar, with the other 2 teams, you know, having a bit of issues right now. YKG down to just 2 players, and AT7 having to get their 4th man up.
Sohan looking battered up here. Looking at the armor, trying to toss in some grenades on the team Jaguar. Reloading the DBS, running low on the slugs after that last defense.
Yeah, he's definitely working with pennies and dimes this round right now in this fight. But N Hyper, you know, just taking a little stroll up top of the mountains, doing a little mountain climbing. But it looks like they're going to be... I think they're going to be right on top of YKG, actually, on that mountainside. Oh, and...
Oh, whoa. Self-grenade there. Mistakes were made, unless this was all intentional. Now the duo from Jaguar, both were grenades in hand. Fran with the M4.
It was intentional,
down. It was all planned, Enigma. That was the bait. Intentional. Confirmed.
Love seeing that. But, you know, as there was YKG and stuff on the hillside, it's a 4v4. As I say, that 3v4 between N Hyper and AT7. N Hyper, though, I think they're going to have to do a Superman play down the mountainside. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get down. I don't think there's any safe spots to get down here onto the ground level without being just 1 HP for AT7.
The mountain goats, man. What happens when they jump down? Are they done, or do they just lose a lot of health? Like, what do you see happening here?
I think King right now is gonna be able to find a spot to get down, but the problem is as soon as they see one person drop, they know where the only safe spot is for them to come down, and everyone else, I think, is just gonna die to zone. But Fran just, I'm not sure what the plan is there, just giving him a freebie Chuko, leaving the compound. Why not just smoke yourself to the rest of the compound and play in the buildings? Playing on what it seems to be a little rock on the hillside. Here we go, Ren making the drop down. They might be able to get down and make this an actual fight.
Oh no! The darn sunlight, man. The sun is blocking the vision up above, and it looks like N Hyper are going to be using that to their advantage, because now they're starting to drop down, and we still got that player on the high ground with the pre-fire on the tree, on the shack.
Yeah, this
keep
is
their
just
teammates
from
safe for the time
this
being.
is just from bad to worse, Dave. I mean, they got the reset off on the hillside. They're gonna just be baiting him, not even letting their teammate get the reset. And I mean, and Hyper, 24 total points, having to make the Superman play down the mountain, clutching out the dub.
I know Superman was playing here tonight, but back-to-back wins, Enigma. I mean, massive amount of elims as well. They are looking to put a stamp on day number 1 of season number 2 here.
I mean,
man,
NA
what
on
a
top,
game.
baby. That's all I could say. You know, 2 in a row. We got YKG winning the first map. You know, you love to see it.
It was pretty intense, and I'm still, let's bring back everybody. I'm still really impressed with their ability to get the revive on GK First, because I thought GK First was done and dusted with how spread apart all 4 of the teammates were on top of their own individual hilltops. But let's bring back the desk. Let's see what they have to say about the back-to-back wins from Hyper.
Yep. That's right, Dave. Back-to-back wins. They were already in first place. Now they're just going to be elevated even more so. Wonderful, wonderful performance. My only worry is they are going to be going into Erangel next, which wasn't the best performing map for Hyper. Game 1, I think 14th place, if I'm not mistaken, but maybe that's in the past. And Game 4 is going to be much better when they go back to Erangel. But for you, Dave, I'm actually going to go to you first real quick. I mean, moments that really stood out to you. I know that car, right? There was a potential drive-by. And all of a sudden it's blown up in your face, man. It's quite jarring.
Yeah, I think another highlight for me is when you asked me in the pre-show, like, Dave, who do you have picked to win? And I was like, Hyper, back-to-back, no doubt about it. My prediction, 2 out of 2 here today, Reflections. So
right.
I've been having a great time.
You're killing it, man, Dave. I mean, you're a guru. You know, you watch enough of this anyway, so you just know what's going on, baby. So, you know, next time I'm a betting man, I'm going to you with all the questions that I have. Neptera, a great game number 3. We only have one more map to go. It's going to be Erangel coming up. But just to recap, a lot of great moments, right, throughout map number 3 of Sanhok. You know, Hyper taking the win is pretty impactful. But C4... a team that's definitely started off strong. Your prediction, and rightly so. I mean, C4 is a team that, you know, made great waves. I mean, they won Season 1. Not the best start to Season 2.
No, it's not Ben, really. I'm not entirely sure why that's the case, but it is the fact, really, of tonight at least, that it's just not going their way. I'm not entirely sure why. I said that already, but, you know, double the surety of I'm not sure why.
Double down.
Double down, absolutely. I'm just kind of hoping that they're mad about it now, and, you know, Erangel is probably their strongest map, and Game 4, we could be looking at a turnaround. I don't know, but that's what I'm hoping for.
Kindness on your screen and playing very well. Season 1 MVP, might be Season 2 MVP with the way Hyper is continuing to play. Enigma, when it comes to Hyper, all 4 members clearly are playing out of their minds. Is there a specific member, though, that you can say definitively over the past 2 games has really stood out to you?
I mean, it would have to be just Ren and Kindness, just that duo itself. I can't just put it into one player, because Ren, you know, that NA staple, he came from nowhere. Just absolutely slaughtered his first tournament about a year or 2 back on the Nova roster. But Kindness, you know, just making that great duo with them. I always see them, you know, just making some plays one off of each other. Just making sure that they're not leaving themselves up for any errors.
Dave, I think this was the fight. Yeah, there was that drive-by loops. Ayala was fighting for his life, but this is where Alpha 7 like started looking really good. I actually thought Alpha 7 from this moment was going to be, or at least have a very strong finish. They were finished off not long after that, but they were holding that building down, 10 toes down.
The bait right there. We thought Choco was done and dusted, but no, that was a intentional grenade to bait out Team Jaguar. And then from above, Hyper, how did they get down? I saw Clint asking. I honestly think the sunlight was at a certain angle that it might have, you know, blocked the sight lines and allowed them to propel down. But one of the, I know this is a side note here as we're looking at this from Hyper, GG's by the way, but Cat God, that game. Cat God helped out Team Jaguar so much, in my opinion, because they really spoiled it for Bope's push.
I'm actually happy you brought up Jaguar, because Jaguar had a good finish, even though they I think like 9th place or around there, top 10 for sure, which might not look good necessarily, but they managed to secure at least 13 points. So good on them for doing so. That's going to elevate them up the leaderboard, I'm sure of it. And for the first time, we have a team dominating all of the stat lines, but we do have YKG coming in with longest elimination. But in Hyper, though, at least, right, they do dominate, and well done from them. Total eliminations coming out 9, not the most we've seen Enigma, but still solid for in Hyper, because we gotta again appreciate the fact they go back-to-back games. We take a look at our overall rankings, and it is going to be in Hyper, of course, in that first place for map number 3. And Wanted Vigilantes been hovering around 8. And as we do go over to the next page, I want to ask you, who stands out to you as maybe not playing as well as you wanted them today? Dauntless maybe stands out.
For me, it's definitely Execute. You know, I've played alongside Sixes and stuff like that, played against him for a few years. You know, he is a new pickup for that roster, but I'm expecting with that experience and with that sort of IGLing prowess that he's had over the years, that they should definitely be performing a lot better, because 11th place, I mean, 7 kills, 2 ranked points. Obviously, we're in a lot more of a kill-based format, but it's definitely subpar to what the standards are right now.
I would say subpar, but above the board in Hyper. Neptura, I mean, 54 points. Well done from them. YKG still holding on to second, but that's kind of reminiscent of what they got from game 1.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, with that, I mean, what I'm looking at right now is just Aton Esports right now. You know, they have 10 kills, 8 ranked points. A little bit of a slower start today, but I'm really looking for these more international sort of regions to be popping off and taking this sort of top part of the leaderboard.
That's right. And Neptura, I think Jaguar is really the only one kind of up there aside from NA, but they're in 4th, not bad.
Yeah, no, they are. They are in 4th. They're doing a good, consistent night so far. You know, we got another 3 weeks before the finals, so they've got some time on their hands to really get that momentum going, as do all of these teams. You know, Black Mamba is a team that we haven't seen really anything at all from them this week, and yet last season they were doing pretty darn well. So we got some time to see them grow into this as well. But I do just want to say very quickly, you know, if that door frame in that building, if that was a player, Loops would have had a squad wipe with that DBS. Unfortunately. It was not a player, and the actual player got him first. But yeah, it was a door frame. But man, it was a bit of a botched job there. But I did like how AT7 really handled that push by, how they did it. It was good. It was really
I definitely
nicely
think
done.
that was one of the most impactful fights for sure. At least in my mind, right, watching that, it was tense, and then that led, of course, to the high ground versus the low ground. High ground wins it. So a wonderful ending to map 3. And Dave, now we go back to our original map, Erangel, where we did see YKG tear it up. 15 elims. They look to reclaim first place. Second place is where they currently sit. Not bad at all, but they've got to score at least 20 or so points if they want to overtake in Hyper, who sits at 50 plus points.
Yeah, not bad at all, like you mentioned, but with back-to-back wins and a massive amount of elims, and Hyper, they are quickly just shooting up the overall leaderboards, creating a nice gap, you know, between them and pretty much everybody else. And I know you're asking teams to look for here in this last game to kind of end on a strong note. I have to say, I'm looking at Dauntless. We've seen them here a couple seasons now already. Today, only 4 total points. If you would have asked me that at the beginning of the day, I would never have guessed that. So I think if Dauntless can just finish off on a high note here on day number 1, I'll be happy with that.
They have to, because Dauntless 3rd place in season 1. You know, they were a standout team from 3rd place now to almost last. Now, granted, it's week 1. We don't know what the other weeks are going to hold, but at least for what we've been seeing, Dauntless has been very underwhelming. And maybe they can turn it around and have at least a decent placing so they can head into week 2 a bit stronger. They're a team we're looking out for. I know, Enigma, you mentioned Execute with 6-list. We'll see what they can do, because they were wonderful during the America scrims that we ran a couple weeks back. They were a fill-in team, and they really surprised us and kind of brought 6-list back into the mix. So we'll see if they can kind of elevate themselves too. And as for you, Neptura, C4, right? A team that was much hyped up, and well deservedly, because first place season 1. Now, not having the best of performances outside of that map 1, that game 1. that we saw a little bit ago. So they're going to have to step it up and get a strong finish if they can. But I've been very happy with some teams, not as happy with others. Loops is one of those. Also to mention, too, just to recap once again the final point for map number 3. V2, Neptune. That was the first time V2 placed outside of second place. So are they slowing down or will they heat back up?
You know, Sanhok is a real odd one to really play. So I think this is just a blip in that. You know, it's a shame that they're not going to get, you know, that four win or 4 second places in a row. You know, that streak.
That would be wild.
But the three will be good enough. They'll have to deal with that. So yeah, I think we'll probably see them in second place again, just for funsies.
Just for funsies, right? At least for them, right? It's for real. They got money on the line, bonus points, and a couple of other things that they're going for. Let's switch up the order. I've been going with Neptura for our predictions to start off. Dave, I want to start with you, baby, because you've been on point. I'm going to give you respect. Can you go 3 for 3? Let's hear what you got.
Yeah, I think I have to stick with the hype train, as I'm the hype train conductor here. Coming in the last game for Dauntless. You know, somebody has to believe here tonight. So I'm going to stick with Dauntless to have a pretty standout performance as I sit back and watch game number 4 and hope that I'm blessed with the membership gods, by the way. I see PB's having a little trouble PB's having trouble getting a membership on the channel. So, you know, I'm going to give him some luck here. But, yeah, Dauntless.
Dauntless, okay, fair enough. Hey, man, look, you just gave them the good luck charm that was needed for them to drive that train forward into the victory lane. Enigma, what about you, man? Who you going for?
Well, last time C4 definitely wasn't a pick, and over the last 3 maps, we've only had 2 winners, one being YKG, and then the double up called by Dave. It's got to be the mustache or something. Maybe I got to grow mine out. But the N Hyper back-to-back, I'm going to keep it with 2 teams. We're going to be going with YKG on map 4.
You said YKG?
YKG, baby.
Fair pick, right? They won map 1. We're going right back to where we started. YKG, can they do it again? Neptura, can they do it again, or do you think it's going to be somebody else?
Would it be wrong with me to go 3rd time's the charm C4? I mean,
oh man,
maybe. I think they're mad. That's all. That's all. I'm thinking they're really mad. You know, today has not gone the way they wanted it to go. And I would love to see them have that comeback, especially on Erangel. You know, they were looking really good on game 1, had a rough 2 games. Now they want to win. They are wanting those points. So I'm going to C4 with this one. Yeah, I'm sticking with them.
C4 sticking with them. I like it. YKG. We got Dauntless. And for me, I'm actually going to go V2. I love their bridge placement. Their position was wonderful. And they nearly won, if you guys remember, against YKG in game 1. So I think this time around, they're going to overcome and they are going to win it. So V2 is going to be my pick. Chat, what about you? What are you thinking? Let's head into our final map of the day for week 1 of the Titan Series Season 2. Power Bank. Enigma. Let's give it up and let's head in.
Let's get it, baby.
Hey, thanks for the toss, man. I'm excited to put my pick in for a team that's not going to show up for the game. Maybe this time I can get one correct. I feel like N Hyper has to be the front runner, and I will pick them. I joked about not picking them the last time and gave you all the reasons that they would win the game. They did those reasons. They won the game. Maybe I should have went with that. I don't know. So I'm going with N Hyper. Lock it in.
Definitely not a bad pick whatsoever. But I mean, we are going to be starting it off. We're going to have to see, though. Are they going to be on the plane path? Not too sure, actually. But, I mean, a little bit of an easier plane path. I think everyone's going to be able to get to their drops this game. Starting from that northwest side or towards George Bull. A little cruise down towards Novo at the end. Power Bang. Is there any team right now that you're seeing that is standing out to you?
Yeah, and not in a good way. It's Execute. They're sitting in single-digit points right now after 3 games, and that's something that a team of that caliber can't be doing. So I'm hoping that they turn it around here in game number 4. But we've got 5 teams right now that are still single-digit points, and 3 of those teams with just 1 rank point so far. So still trying to crack the top half of the leaderboard really in any of these games. And so really hopeful that Black Mamba, Dauntless, Execute can kind of turn things around, and we got a northern zone here to actually try and do that.
Yeah, I'd like to be seeing Jaguar make the rotates, but they're actually going to be in an early fight with V2 Esports, getting an early pickup on a Jaguar, I believe it is. Jaguar really just feeling the pressure, getting S12 K'd out. This is not looking good. It's S12 versus Pump in a warehouse. Basically a coin flip if you know where he's at or not. Not too sure. They're going to double up, go for the push. He shoots early. They know exactly where he's at. Expecting this to be a free wipe, but as I say that, he gets one and he gets both with the Pump shotgun. Holy crap, that is insane plays out of Simple Boy for Team Jaguar.
Look at all that extra health he had, man. Really packing that health in there. Plenty to finish that fight, but Jaguar off to a really good start here. And I will mention, they are one of the teams right now that's really standing out. You know, we had some comments right before the game started that V2 has been consistently in the top of the standings. Not quite sniffing that chicken just yet, but consistently top 2. And the team that has kind of snuck in as kind of the highest average placement over 3 games right now, tied with V2, is actually Loops. And, you know, them along with Jaguar consistently putting up great points. Loops, even with the highest average finish, they're still sitting in 5th place overall. Jaguar just ahead of them, and they're doing it off the back of elims. You can see Simple Boy getting it done here, showing them who's boss. And like I said, just a couple of slivers of life to finish that fight.
Yeah, from that point of view, it's just some really nice mechanics, movement he pulls out there. Getting the pump, being able to get back around the box, dodging and weaving the AK shots just to hit another one tap. Ophelia's going to have to do his own dodging and weaving with his own pump shotgun. YKG condensing down. They know where he's at in the building, but this is going to turn up to be a 4v4 right here on this north side of the bridge.
Absolutely. We've got Bope getting into it early once again. YKG trying to double up on the chicken, getting off to a strong start early on in this one. And some people asking in chat, like, is 777s Joey or is 999s? I heard it from Fears, guys, that 777s is Joey. And, you know, that may be backwards, but don't blame it on me. Blame it on Fears, because that's what came from his mouth. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a little bit of name change going on there. Another person that liked to do that a lot was Starlight, actually. He just recently switched to the PMPL Arabia region. Hopefully be able to see him pop off in finals play and that sort of stuff. I believe that tournament is starting this week for PMPL Arabia. But, I mean, right now, Joey is just in the most rat spot possible I could think of, waiting for his teammates to come up and help him with this sort of 4v4 fight.
Heck yeah, Bope here. A little bit split. We've got some good coverage coming in from Rosa, but I don't know if there's going to be angles here. This fight's kind of slow to develop. Everybody's everywhere right now. Let's see if YKG pushes the action here.
A lot of it's just going to be you rotating around, seeing if you can outplay another, but it's just one-for-one trade. Roa is a little bit low. Joey's in a spot to maybe catch him off guard with a knock. He's going for it, but 24K pushing in to the building now, pushing out Ophelia. Getting the free knock, putting a real just hard pressure down right now. And Joey, I think, just hit a jumping DVS shot. Crazy shots out of him. Getting the wipe on a Bope. 4 kills, keeping all 4 players alive for YKG. Really love seeing that sort of stuff.
I'm really loving the new the active scoreboard on the right, so I can see the health and who's not, because it was like the players weren't looking in the right direction. So I was super happy to catch most of that fight. Bope getting the worst end of it. They're out early here in our 4th game of the day. Again, YKG off to another strong start. Right now, Erangel, the common theme for them, and Hyper picking up all the dubs on every other map right now. Sanhok, no surprise, but really delivering on Miramar. YKG trying to make this kind of a 2-team race already. We saw the standings with Hyper with a big lead already, sitting almost 20 points ahead of YKG. But YKG sitting in 2nd place, trying to even it up at 2 chicken dinners apiece after 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to break that caster's curse. Got to do it somehow. Definitely my pick for this game. They did win, but, you know, hopefully they are able to pull through and not get caught off mid-rotate later on in this map. But Xtreme Slayers picking up 2 kills as well, I believe, on the rest of Jaguar maybe. But, you know, right now, just most people just driving around. Make sure you loot every building, get all of your little smoke grenades and DBS, shotgun shells. For the mayhem that's going to happen later on in these sorts of matches.
Looking at some of the teams that have been a bit quiet so far. Butterfly Effect has been... They've been around towards the end of games, but haven't really gotten into it till later on in a lot of the games today. Keep an eye on them. Again, Same team, new logo, new brand, a little bit here. It's the former Wall Street Bets roster for anybody that's wondering. And I'm still watching the chat to see if old PB can get hooked up with a membership. I literally just bought the entire chat memberships, and I didn't get one. And now I can't for whatever reason because I bought it on the other account, and my current account's not available. RIP PB, L's in the chat for YouTube. And yeah, I'm a little salty right now because I wanted to put some logos in there for the teams I didn't predict to win, you know?
Well, you know, it's just, you hate to see it sort of thing, PB. Maybe next time. Maybe we'll have Hot Jukes or someone put it in so he can get you one. But Hot Jukes, you know, coming in clutch earlier with some predictions, you know, giving the Caster's Curse a bit of love. Love seeing it. I'm not the only one, thankfully, that's doing that sort of stuff. Neptura and I, obviously, stressing a bit about that with C4 last game. Right now, I mean, Dauntless, you know, just had a few, you know, interesting points in the last few matches. A few, you know, key fights that they had to win that unfortunately didn't go their way. What are your thoughts on them, PB?
You know, before we get to that, I'm told that we have some more UC to give away. So that's the important stuff right now. We got to get that on screen. Let's not talk about PUBG Mobile for just a moment. Go to PUBGmobile.com/redeem, enter the code, get yourself hooked up. And holy crap, Mezexis zooming through 24K, trying to connect here and unable to do so.
Yeah, I mean, they went for the send. Well, they actually got 2 on the pull-up from YKG, and Mezexis absolutely splattering 24K with the new whip. You hate seeing that. I'm not sure what happened there. Mezexis was the team that was crossing the bridge. YKG must have just gotten a little too overzealous with that and just ended up just overextending and giving them free knocks, essentially.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's cars zooming and flipping and doing all kinds of crazy stuff in the blue zone. We'll see who actually makes it into the circle. Interestingly enough, look at Aton Esports on the eastern side of this circle. There is no one near Yasnaya, anywhere east of school. That whole eastern part of the zone completely wide open. We'll see if any squads are able to sneak in there to the circle. But as for the western side, it's going to be hard fought, man, because all of the teams left still standing have got to fight through one another to get into the safe circle.
Yeah, pulling some, you know, previous PUBG Mobile Pro experience from yours truly. You know, as an IGL, a lot of these IGLs are able to recognize what side of the zone is going to be free. Now, obviously, you know, when you think of a circle, you want spots in the zone to be filled in. You want to be taking the edge spots, you want to take center. But with this sort of style of game and stuff like that, people like taking power positions and then playing around that sort of stuff if it shifts later on. But with this sort of zone, you start seeing, you know, half of the zone, a third of the zone be essentially free real estate for you to go, hey, you know, we could just keep driving and hold a huge split like what Hyper likes doing and stuff like that. I believe they're holding a split right now. Execute, possibly holding a split as well, or catching a player on Butterfly Effect on Rotate Fate. I must have had his hands duct taped to the steering wheel because he gets knocked instantly by QB. Oh, man.
This is an awkward fight. I mean, he just gifted an elim, and Kubi able to get the knock, but not able to take advantage. Maybe it was a decoy, Enigma. I mean, the whole squad rolled up immediately afterwards. We had some monster truck cluster going on, and ultimately Execute here, putting the pressure onto Butterfly Effect.
You know, it's like Dave in last game, you know, Aton, you know, hitting the self-nade for the rest of the team to be loops to be baited out and to peek and that sort of stuff. But, you know, Butterfly Effect is going to have to make a move right now. But as I say that, they notice Xtreme Slayers behind Execute right as you were talking. I was thinking, you know, Execute's in probably the worst spot possible because even though Butterfly Effect lost 2, they had the knock on the Execute. And that is just salt to the wound. Julian just taking a little freebie on a Casper trick. 1 HP. Gonna get found out eventually. Takes 1 down with him. Julian getting knocked. And now, I mean, I'd like to see Execute circle back almost and just do what happened to them. Put him in a little knuckle sandwich going on. But Sixus, I think, just gonna play solo. Play for the little bit of placement he could get maybe. And Xtreme Slayers at least getting the reset off. All 4 up still. And I'd like to see them possibly even fight Butterfly Effect if they were able to pay attention to the kill feed, see if they were slaughtering that sort of squad wipe right
We
there.
need royalty-free circus music because that would have been amazing to play during that whole fight because that was just chaos. The whole thing was ridiculous, fighting out in an open field, 14 miles out of zone. I don't know what's going on, but I was thoroughly enjoyed all of it. It was great.
you know, I'll get the balloons and the makeup for it. You know, you can maybe come in with the band. We'll get Mustache Dave maybe on the horns and stuff like that. Hot Jigs, but he almost had 2. I'm surprised he didn't get the double knock-on trick. That would have made it even better. Shout out to Reduction for the replay, but oh man. Crazy.
That was great. Just driving circles. And it was not only, it was like 3 to 4 squads kind of entangled there, just in, you know, different orders of fighting. And that was good stuff. Butterfly Effect actually makes it out alive as they were the first team caught out in the open, able to actually make it out here with 2 of their members and get to that northern part of the circle. We'll see how they post up. But notably here, while all of this going on, YKG thinned out to 1 member. Not sure who that member is at the moment, but that's going to really hurt their chances to go for a second chicken dinner today. So Hyper certainly has to feel pretty good about that as we take a peek over to them. They're into the action right now. All 4 members, well, you got 1 knocked, but 4 members still alive at this point. And yeah, man, Hyper, they're rolling. We'll see if they can answer back here against C4.
Yeah, I was expecting, you know, the 2 teams that had won all 3 of the maps, Hyper and YKG, but you know, right now I think it's just Caster Curse coming back to bite me. Right in the worst spots possible, but Dauntless, you know, might be able to save Hyper. C4 getting pulled up on, trying to get the resets on Kindness. They get the re-knock on an off angle by Ghoul, but I think there's just too many teams around this sort of gas station hill area to really be pulling out, but Klaus getting caught out in the open. I'm not sure where these plays are coming from. Maybe he jumped out of his car to get an early knock angle, but really just unfortunate stuff to see when you're in these sorts of spots. It really just is tragic because you're near the center of the zone. A lot of teams are going to be rotating in. And with this new kill format, you're going to be seeing teams leave their compound to go fight you in a lot of these situations.
Leave compound seems to be the MO right now for most of these teams. Dauntless taking down Quan on the way by. You see Quan over from the Panthers finding a home here on C4. Unfortunately, doesn't find a home inside of that buggy as he's knocked out of it. And C4 picking up a couple of elims here, taking down Klaus as well. And that will get Dauntless down to 3 members. And I honestly, this whole game, Enigma, I can't tell what's going on. There's just cars zooming around everywhere. This reminds me of a pub lobby.
Yep, cue the clown music like you said earlier. I mean, it's just, you know, James self-nading himself. We're seeing a lot of just interesting moments going on as this stuff was going on. The last YKG member dying, so unfortunate caster curse for them. Sorry, guys. Really unfortunate stuff to see, but Hyper, you know, still possibly able to keep this a 2-team win out, NA on top sort of thing, but the zone shift isn't really favoring them, going just northeast of them. Going to be condensing back down to the gas station. You know, I was never a fan of the spot because the little wall there
sucks.
The wall is raised too much, so you could shoot right under and hit the tires. Everyone likes looking down at you like what's happening to them just now. It's just a whole cluster. But I mean, hey, this game has been all about clusters. It's been all about that clown music.
It's like nice if the end circle is on the compound, but like if it moves off of you at all and you have to rotate, you're in a shooting gallery and you don't have vision. You can't see beyond the wall, but everyone on the other side of it can see your feet and shoot you. And then on the top side, people are just shooting down into the gas station. So it's just like literally a death zone. Every time I've gone there personally, it's just, it doesn't end well unless the end zone is there.
Well, I guess the question is now, would you rather take the gas station or having 4 players in one shack, because you are just getting absolutely bombarded with nades. Bishop trying to possibly pull it, but I think he's just going to tuck his tail and run, leave his teammates to die, say, sorry, I wasn't the one that chose that spot, but I don't know if he's even going to live. Is he just going to post up on the rock? Seems like it. He's going to be able to at least live a little bit longer, but I mean, 0 elims. What are the points you're really getting out of this sort of game with that sort of play? Getting maybe 1, 2 points at most, and if that, 0 points for them, getting eliminated by Hyper with that horrible gas station play, but it seems to be working out for him, PB.
It really does. You know, interestingly enough, Black Mamba, one of the teams today, starting really slow, and last season after coming up from Challenger Division and into the Premier Finals, they actually had an incredible run, finishing, I believe, 3rd overall in the entire league. And I was like, dang, are we underestimating this team? Is this like somebody that we've discovered? And so far, it's not looking good for them. Only 3 points through 3 games and putting up 0 in the 4th. we're sitting at 3 points after 4 games. So Black Mama's not happy with today's performance. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, the goose egg is definitely going to call for at least either, if you have subs, maybe swap some subs in and out. You have a few days to prepare for the next qualifier date for the total points. But also, it's just, you got to research what these teams are doing. This isn't scrims. This is, qualifiers for you to go to the next stage of the tournament. You're wanting to put that sort of effort in, get used to that sort of stuff. And I think that's what separates the good from the great for these teams. But we're going to have to put a pause on that because I just saw the most insane slam towards Loops. Loops, only 3 players, one of them knocked. This is the star number for them. The stars are lining up for them, but are they going to be able to 2v3 essentially C4?
The good news is for them, Cardozen did spot the off angle there at the tower, so he knows at least where C4's off angle is and knows how to hide from that angle. But still, it's a 1v2. And the interesting thing from Loops here is, as we've kind of joked around about, they literally came into game 4 here with 3 players. So leaving back a member of the squad, they are shorthanded, and they're going to do the best they can with it, and dead on with the grenade there. Oh, man. Gets the quick finish there on JP47. Not ideal. Now we essentially have a one-on-one Psycho taking damage. This is huge from Cardozen. He's got angles here, too.
Yeah, I mean, if we were looking at the spread, too, the confidence from Loops, the second player being almost 100 meters out of the compound just north, a little unfortunate to see. I'd be pinging and Hyper in the server, let us fight the 1v1, like stop third partying us, like I'm going for the clip sort of thing. But then Hyper now in a horrible spot, able to actually use that edge zone that no one wanted and take this third party fight onto Loop C4.
Interesting play there by Ghoul on the off angle. Chose not to fire shots, even though he had 2 Hyper players back to him. Opted to kind of stay quiet, stay in hiding here, because Hyper does not have that info of where he's at. But he's going to try to stay aligned. Aton Esports, though, seems to have that info, and they're looking right at Ghoul from that other side. Fran lobbing shots down the way. Hyper, though, man, they're one of 3 squads right now at full strength, and I like the aggression that they're playing with. They saw that 1v1, and while I would have liked to have seen it played out as well, they weren't messing around. They just went for the third party, broke up the fight, and ended up taking both points for themselves. So Hyper, again, lots of momentum here, firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I mean, momentum is definitely the correct word for it, because if you're looking, from game 1 to game 2, they changed up the mindset. They brought in Zfon, and it's just, they're in the groove. And these are one of those teams where if they get in the groove, they're scary. They're one of those teams that has that individual gun skill, that individual game sense knowledge that every player needs to have. And if they start, putting 2 and 2 together, they're really going to be the force to be reckoned with in this lobby.
They really are, and I'm happy for Shifon here, too, getting a shot at the lineup, and not one of Hyper's strongest players. He's actually made a pretty noticeable difference today in some of the play. He's been on the point, pushing some of the action, getting some of these opening knocks. So Shifon having actually a really good day for Hyper, and it makes me happy for him because he's such a good dude.
Yeah, and I think, too, with that, it was an old practice that teams had. Cloud9 had it with Pyra for Team Totality. I was more the support player, where, Zfon, maybe he's not, the best mechanics and stuff like that, but he is able to come in and give that sort of sense of relief, comfort, whatever it might be that Hyper needs to be able to be making these sort of plays like they are right now.
Definitely, and I mean, he's certainly a high IQ player. It's just like some of the gun skills on some of these NHP players they're just god tier players.
Yeah.
So the kindness, the Rins, the GK, like they're just unreal. So again, I think of how would I do if I put myself in the battlegrounds with these guys? I look like an idiot. So I feel for him in that regard. But Hyper, man, continuing to cruise here. 4 players up still. Xtreme Slayers the only one left with a 4-player lobby. They're on the other side of the circle right now.
Yeah, I mean, look at the active scoreboard on the right. Hyper, a little bit of gray bars with getting their HPs up just off that fight. But I mean, we're looking at Xtreme Slayers 9 kills, Aton Esports with 7, and Hyper at 7. Dauntless, trying to get that, extra 3 or 4 points possibly if they're able to get to that second place rat finish. But it's essentially just a 3v3v4 or 3v4v4 with these top teams in the match right now.
Good pressure coming out here from Aton Esports. They're putting it onto Xtreme Slayers right now. And you mentioned 9 elims. That's been a quiet 9 elims, honestly. Like, that's kind of happened off camera for the most part. Haven't really seen much of Xtreme Slayers, but we're seeing them now, and we're seeing them on the opposite end of those gun barrels. They are blazing right now, starting to heat up, and they've got an offensive pressure going on right now against Hyper. and we should see a crash here to come support, but it's a little bit too late. Julian taken down before his team can actually rotate and support him. Xtreme Slayers opting to play the other side of the circle here, and maybe fingers crossed it goes to them. But we've got a seemingly 3-team race right now with a Solo and Dauntless just trying to stay quiet, stay silent, and stay alive.
Yeah, I think Xtreme Slayers was actually trying to push Hyper on the wall of the compound. Julian was actually on that upper wall right next to Rin and them, with the rest of their players, lagging behind from this pressure from Aton Esports, destroying their vehicles, making them not able to catch up, and ultimately probably putting themselves, Aton Esports, in a better position to try to fight these later zones. Because one player down is always a big difference when it comes to taking these 3v4, 4v4 fights.
100%. We're actually seeing the scenario we kind of hypothesized about a bit earlier. Hey, if this end circle's not exactly on the gas station, it's kind of a pain in the ass to push out of it and get to circle. The good news, though, is right when Hyper was needing to move, the fight between Aton and Xtreme Slayers broke out. That gave them a crucial moment of distraction, essentially, for all of these other squads. Dauntless sure as hell is not going to open fire on them in a 1v4. They're just trying to stay alive, so Hyper actually able to get into the circle here and secure some of the zone.
Yeah, I mean, just praying to the zone gods, PUBG Mobile gods, whatever words they're saying, everyone's going to need to be doing it after today for the rest of these qualifiers, because Hyper is absolutely slaughtering these matches right now.
They really are. Firing on all cylinders, as we mentioned before. And I like how Rin's staying up top, opting for that high ground, trying to scout right now and just mark and figure out where these players are as the rest of his team kind of looks on. Again, trying to locate these other teams. Aton Esports and Xtreme Slayers continuing to go at it, continuing to trade. And Hyper is loving what they're seeing because they're just getting, softened up. These other squads are getting thinned out. Pretty soon, it's going to be a 4-on something, and it's not going to be a 4-on-4. So that's pretty nice for Hyper.
Yeah, what I think Rin's trying to do right now is at least get some sort of numbers. Hey, on this west side of zone, Xtreme Slayers could be 3 players up, 4 players up if they're paying attention to kill feed. And the real question right now is they're wondering, where is this last Dauntless player? Is Aton Esports having a 3rd player up right now? Is it a solo? So I think right now they're just waiting for this zone shift for them to be in the best possible situation to be able to take on these fights.
They're doing a really good job with their zone position. You can see Kindness up, really pushed up here, kind of as like a beachhead almost. Peeking over the hill, trying to see what Xtreme Slayers is doing. But notice how all of the arrows really are focused on Aton Esports. They're trying to pick up these elims, and they know they have somebody at their back right now. You can see Shifan on the off angle, really kind of focused on Skipper, but Skipper staying in hiding. Good job for him, just trying to outlast at least Aton Esports, pick up that other placement, and look at that. The zone does indeed go over to Xtreme Slayers, so they're going to try to make quick work of Aton here and get ready for a big fight coming up with Hyper.
Yeah, and I mean, Zfon is just hawking this shack. I think he kind of know, or this pillar, I guess you could say. I think he kind of knows that someone's going to be there. He might even see the back of that Dacia there. Skipper, I think, is just going to be, he might honestly be the first team dead, unfortunately for them, with Xtreme Slayers and Aton Esports having to battle it out for this edge spot and zone.
Skipper came in from the edge of circle, and given how far he got into the zone and the fact that there's a car park next to him, I'm pretty sure that Hyper actually watched him drive in, and so they're well aware that he is he's chilling there. So Shifan, his job, literally just to pick off Skipper as he tries to get to circle. You can see him hopping around, trying to catch some sort of visual. The zone coming in, he knows about where Skipper should be, ultimately just trying to get that visual and keep him from putting something in the ear hole of one of his other teammates, and they're really counting on Shifan right now to hold this angle.
I wonder if Kindness can see him right now. I think Skipper's going to have to stand up eventually. The zone's moving a little bit too fast, I think. You might be able to tank a little bit of it, take damage without exposing yourself, but Zfon's just going to be making this an absolute headache for Skipper. Taking the car, you have that higher third-person point of view, and there we go.
Now you're going to have the marks out on the field, and it's over. Yeah, real quick work. Once they spotted him, all they had to do was interesting. The communications on the team, like, all right, Shifan, you got the off angle, hold that down. All right, guys, I don't see him. All right, they finally look back over there, and they're like, oh, he's just laying there. Like,
standing up now, like he's running in, and you're dead. Unfortunate to see. But I mean, we're seeing it, Hyper making the aggro play onto Xtreme Slayers and the run over. We have seen at least 5 or 6 car kills in the last 2 matches, not even after all 4.
The cinematics, dude. Production on point. Zooming out, watching the repeat runovers of Xtreme Slayers. They are down to just one. I thought they had a pretty good position of power, at least against Aton Esports, but Aton in this little dip hiding. We'll see if they're able to get rid of these vehicles. Robert taken down. Aton's going to lock up at least second place here. And just like that, it's a 4v1. Hyper looking to put this one away. Their hot streak coming off PMPL America's Enigma is looking strong.
Yeah, I mean, Hot Jukes was saying, after that game 1 performance, maybe they're, in a little bit of a slump. They make one roster change, boom. 3 wins in a row for Hyper. I think all 3 of them being into the double-digit kill points, but, I mean, they're just absolutely soldering it. NA on top. My prediction was half right. It wasn't YKG, but it was Hyper. The 2 teams keeping it to 2 teams winning out the lobby for the day.
Make it rain. Powerbang got a prediction right. Thank you, Hyper. Thank you, Shifan. Thank you, Ren Kindness. Everyone else. GK first. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much. I want to thank my mom. I want to thank the fans. Thank you guys so much. I am on point. And also get some Hyper emotes for all you new channel members up in the chat. Let's bring the desk back in and figure out what the heck we just saw in that clown show car run over fest in game 4.
Matt, dude, cars were just brutal the entire game, and I felt bad for Remix because he that in-game stayed with 4 teams for the longest time, right? We knew Hyper had the big advantage with 4 players still alive. Remix did his best to stay alive as long as he possibly could, and then he gets ran over by a car. I felt terrible for the guy, I really did, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. But Enigma, you said it best, brother. Hyper, 3 games in a row. That is tremendous. You go back to their game 1, brother, where they were on this very map, right? Because we played it twice. They got 14th place, Enigma. Go to game 2, 3, and 4. They get first place. Talk about turning up.
I mean, it's got to be the Z-Font buff. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not sure who the manager is, who the coach is, but after today's performance, he's going to need to get a lot more playing time.
Hey,
give that man a raise.
Well, you were hyping him up, PV, right? You were saying, you're really happy because he's a good guy, and I do love to see good guys, finally getting a big chance and obviously being on top like that. I mean, Hyper is a tremendous team from second place in the PMPO Americas Championship to a very definitive first place, right? And Caster shouldn't do math, but I'm very confident saying that 3 in a row. Neptera. Seriously, though, great game from Hyper, but also a good game from Alpha 7 and Dauntless. Dauntless, a team that we were, in a way, disappointed with, especially given their performance in Season 1, where they got 3rd place. This time around, they do finish much stronger than they had in the previous games.
Yes, they did, and I think we saw that from actually a few teams. They played this last game like it was a last game, and they played it very slow. They tried to conserve as many of their players as possible, right. and it's worked out in their favor in this instance, and they did a super good job. It's ending it on a relative high note, so that's nice for them to just take the week and breathe and do the things they need to do for next week. So yeah, it's a good thing.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Hyper, 3 in a row, 13 elims, and also the highest elims of the day, Powerbang. I think with their second game, they got 18 total elims. So, I mean, talk about being absolutely incredible. And, as far as the MVP goes for today, who are we thinking, Powerbang?
Light work, man. Light work. These 18 elims. That's easy. That's easy claps. As far as MVP for the day, holy cow. I think the entire Hyper roster is topping the charts, literally. I'm not even joking. I mean, with 3, let's congratulate Hyper now for qualifying for the finals. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've made it in. I mean, for real. I think the point cutoff for the lower end, like 12th place, is like 45, 50 points, somewhere in there. They're in the 70s for sure, given that they had 23, 24, 25 points today. Holy crap. It's crazy. Here are your rankings, Taylor. Look at this. Hyper once again on top with 20-something points.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. 13 elims. But we hyped up in Hyper. Aton, though, they do make it in second place. That's their best finish. And Enigma, Xtreme Slayers, by far, this was their best performance out of all 4 games.
Yeah, and I mean, those 10 elims just show, they're learning at least through the matches. It took them a few. It took them 3, so matches, but I mean, this 4th match definitely shows that they're able to compete with a lot of these other teams.
V2, though, was a team that kind of fell off a little bit, Neptura. I mean, from game 1 to game 2, both back-to-back second places, to game 3 and game 4, very lackluster finishes.
Yeah, and it's kind of odd to see that they're still getting those elimination points. You know,
Sure.
they got 4, so that's a squad wipe right there, but no rank points. So it's got this really weird sort of dynamic going on. I'm not sure if teams have started to really get their head in the game, and so V2 are kind of suffering because of that, but we'll have to see how next week goes for them.
Look at the overall, though. I mean, you were trying to do the 77
Oh my God.
points.
Oh, wow.
77, second place. YKG with a whopping 39. And I say whopping, that's no insult, because you look at second through, what, 6th place? 7th place at 25 to 39. 77 power bank.
Dude,
Bro.
so here's the deal. Let's break this down, right? Again, grats to Hyper. You're moving on. Whoop-de-doo, right? Everyone else has got work to do. So we take a peek at V2. You mentioned them a second ago. They fell off in games 3 and 4, but we have a massive, and I repeat, gargantuan, Leviathan point sponge in this lobby. It is none other than Hyper. Everyone else, there's a lot of parity here. If you look at spots 2 through 8, I mean, that's one game difference for all of these folks. Really the only team right now that's way out in front, and Hyper. Everyone else, I mean, even down into C4, Wanna Vigilantes, even Execute. These guys are just a couple of great games away from being right back in the thick of it. So, again, big point sponge. And Hyper, though, killing it on game number, or day number 1.
And power bank for the bonus points, it is imperative you get top 8, right? For the bonus points. So if you think about breaking it, go for it.
I was going to say bonus points. We might have a graphic. We might not. I don't know if production has it ready. I mean, we can throw it up on screen here in a second
I think
to go
it's top
through
8.
the bonus points. But here it is. Top 8 are going to get basically some extra points to take with them to the finals. So let's finish in the top 8, y'all. But again, that top spot, pretty coveted because 10 points to start out with. That's basically a free chicken dinner and only 6 matches to play. So it's quite a big difference, and especially when these finals, oftentimes the teams that didn't play as well during qualifiers, but they made it, all of a sudden shine. You know, it's really, really key. Every little point matters.
Yeah, the reason why I bring up bonus points in general is simply for the fact that you look at the point spread. I mean, everybody is threatening to break in the top 8 if they're not already within top 8. So that's going to be a hot contention point and a big discussion point, especially as we get closer to week 3, right? Where that cutoff for the bonus points is going to be. And by the way, stats coming out for reference, number 1 for all of S1 qualifiers was 137 points. So already after week 1, and Hyper at 77 is more than halfway through. Absolutely ridiculous. Well done from them. They truly are the kings of week 1 and might be the kings of season 2. But now one of my favorite segments, Neptura, I want to hear from you a little bit, get your analysis on a great play from game 4. Let's run through it.
Let's do that indeed. And you know what? Surprise, surprise, is going to be in Hyper, right? I just wanted to talk about their movement in these fights. Because these fights not necessarily were part of their agenda. These were all third parties, but their movement in here, they've got those timings right. They know exactly where to go, what to do, and which angle to take these fights from. I mean, GK with that back angle there, just a fantastic, fantastic show of skill from these guys. And even going into that final game with that car meta, love to see that car meta coming through. But their movement is what won them that game for sure. Just incredible stuff.
That movement, good stuff there, and also learning that gas station is somewhere you want to avoid, right? It's just not a good place to be, right? Because you got people who have the high ground, then they can shoot out your feet. So whenever I'm playing, I'm avoiding that like the plague, unless I have to absolutely go there. But wonderful job and a good breakdown from you, Neptura. We look at our results for today. Enigma, we talked about in Hyper, 3 wins in a row. YKG, the only outlier, winning map number 1. V2 getting second place a couple of times as a whole. But, you know, a good little mix and nice to see Xtreme getting 3rd place in our map number 4, brother.
Yeah, I mean, well, the nice thing is, you know, with the first 2 matches, we're seeing it, you know, V2, second place.
That's
I'm hoping next week that we're able to see them, you know, finish in that first spot like Hyper and YKG did today.
Yeah, consistency is key, and I think we had a lot of consistent players, consistent teams without question. I would like to see some teams do a little bit better. Execute is one of them. You guys highlighted them a couple times. PB, you did. Enigma, you yourself. C4, a team that started off hot, but then unfortunately finished a little bit cold, and then you look at YKG, who's doing well in the overall standings, but I think they could have done a lot better based off of how they did in Map 1. But hey, all good things must come to an end, and for this broadcast, it is coming to an end, but I couldn't leave without getting your final thoughts. Neptune, we'll start with you. What did you think about week 1?
Oh, it's very exciting. I think it's got a slightly different vibe, you know, after PMPL, after the Americas, with the influx of some new teams from some different regions. I think it's got a really interesting vibe that we've not seen yet on the Titan series. So really, really excited to see what the next few weeks have in store and how that's all going to come out. Are Hyper going to continue to dominate, or is there going to be another team that go, hey, you know what? Actually, we want those points. Give them over.
Be a huge comeback, wouldn't it? To overcome 77 points already, but anything is possible. Enigma,
C4.
it was great having you on here. Second time work, C4, right? Second time working for you, Enigma. America Scrims first a couple weeks ago now. Today was great. What'd you think about today as a whole?
Well, today as a whole, NA on top, like I said a dozen times already today. But the one thing, I'm looking for over the next, few weeks for the qualifiers is the fact of, hey, if you're one of these bottom teams, you need to be coming through and just still performing. Even if your team's not performing, I believe Mustache and Hot Cheek said it earlier, you can have individual performances. And this is the period where, one of these top teams, maybe you'll become the next Coops of the region, one of these top players that can outshine the rest.
Absolutely. And Power Bang, the man behind this entire Titan series. I know the crowd, they love it. They love watching, PUBG Mobile as a whole. And the frequency of events has kind of increased, which is great because it keeps the players hot and ready, like you said at the beginning, hot, hot, hot. But it also gives the spectators, the PUBG Mobile, they know and love.
Amazing. Well, hey, thank you all for obviously being here. Thanks to the fans. Thanks to the teams. A couple of closing thoughts from my end. First of all, I love how Enigma just dropped the Dave and just started calling him Mustache. That's perfect. Second of all, DBS meta officially over. DBSs are dead.
Goodness.
It's now the car meta. Cars are it.
Yes.
Forget the shotguns.
Is that better?
Bring wheels. I don't know if it's better, but it's facts. You saw it there in Game 4. Evidence is out there. Next, we had 3 invited teams show up for today's action. All 3 finished in the top 7. Notably, Aton Esports finishing in 3rd place overall, picking up 2 second place there. A little bit quiet, but in games 3 and 4, kind of starting to trend upwards. We'll see if we can watch them in future weeks slay out and see if they can make a run at Hyper at the top of the leaderboard. But obviously, the story of the week, Hyper, week 1, they are killing it. So again, awesome action, awesome fun in the Titan series, and hopefully all of you guys out in the chat enjoy the new memberships and use them to cheer on your favorite team. We got all kinds of emotes that will all be locked and loaded for next week for sure.
Love that. And I even got one, so I'm happy for that because I never get anything and I
yeah.
never win anything because I'm not good at things. So, hey, I'm happy to be here. It was a great broadcast. Okay. Production always got to roast me every single time. You guys don't hear it, but I get the abuse. Hey, it's been a wonderful day with all of you out there in chat. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already because we have more weeks left. Speaking of, next week, next Thursday, same time, 6 CST, 4 PST, 7 EST. We're going to be back live once again for week 2 of the Titan Series Season 2. For myself, Taylor Reflections, Noble, our casting crew, our production crew, you in chat, thank you so much for being here. And be back again next week, Thursday, 7 Eastern Time. We'd love to have you.